All right, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? I mean, it goes without saying. In my opinion, I have to be honest, that was probably the best heavyweight fight that I've seen in the last 10 years. That's heavyweight fight of the decade for me. I thought that was a great performance by Tyson Fury. I thought Wilder showed incredible heart, incredible intestinal fortitude. Uh, I agree with a lot of people who say that Wilder has nothing to hang his head about after that fight last night, right? I can't complain. Can't complain about that at all. Uh, Wilder did come out. Obviously, he was jabbing to the body. He was throwing the right hand to the body. Thought he won the first round, right? Second round, thought Fury won it. Obviously, I think that Fury clearly won the third, right? But that fourth round, when Wilder knocked Fury down twice, right? And Wilder telegraphs, sometimes pause with the jab, but as I said before, on occasion when he does throw the perfect 1-2, it's a very dangerous combination for him, obviously, right? He threw a perfect 1-2 with the right hand straight down the pike, hit Fury on the top of the forehead, right? Then he Fury got up, his legs weren't there. Took him, he was wobbly, whatever, and then Wilder hit him with another short right hand, like around the temple area on the side of the head. So, in my opinion, if Wilder lands those two shots against any other heavyweight in the world, I think they're done. And we've seen Anthony Joshua catch shots on the side of the head in the temple area, particularly against Andrew Ruiz, and he just wasn't the same after that. I think if that was Anthony Joshua in that fourth round, I don't think Anthony Joshua would have finished the fight. And if he did get up, I don't think he would have got his legs back. Because once again, when you got a guy like Anthony Joshua, even at 240, he's very muscular, and that muscle, right, uses up a lot of oxygen, as we know. And Fury, who's fatter, I mean, the body uses that fat for fuel, right? So it doesn't, Fury doesn't have that muscle mass that Joshua and Wilder have. And as I said, I wasn't a big fan of the added muscle mass for Deontay Wilder. I don't like Deontay Wilder above 220. I just don't. I don't like him above 220. Right? I don't think he has the legs to carry that extra weight in the upper body. And Wilder was tired. He was huffing and puffing. Even though he did have that huge fourth round, he was huffing and puffing after the second round. You could see it. He was visibly tired. You know, I thought he showed a little bit of different things in the first round, but after the second round, he started getting tired. I just thought he reverted back to the old Deontay Wilder, starting to get it desperate, started loading up, started lifting the right hand up, pulling it back, throwing haymakers, telegraphing it. But I still don't think that many heavyweights, if any at all, would have made it out of that fourth round. I just don't think it. Right? Thought the fifth round was close. Swing round could have gone either way. First round, I believe Wilder won it. And the fourth round, obviously, Wilder clearly won that. So the fight was competitive, somewhat competitive, I would say, for the first 6 rounds. But you knew something was off with Deontay Wilder. Even before the fight started, I just saw something in his face. I saw something in his eyes. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they come out with something after this fight too. I don't know. I don't want to start stirring the pot, but he just didn't look as confident as he normally does. I think there's just something about Fury that makes him question himself. I think this is a horrible style matchup for him. I always said it was, and I also did say that after the draw, he should have went right to Joshua because I always thought he would have beat Joshua. You know, and we just saw Usyk with a great performance over Anthony Joshua. So I know people are gonna say that maybe Usyk is the second best heavyweight in the world, but styles make fights, and I think Deontay Wilder's style would present a lot of problems for Usyk because Usyk does get hit with right hands. And I'm not so sure that Usyk can stand up to that right hand power of Deontay Wilder. Now, obviously, this fight and the fight before took some years off of Deontay Wilder's career. There's no question about it. So he went out on his shield, right? He went 11 rounds. After that from the sixth round on, right? Now the sixth round on, I do believe that Fury just took over the fight, right? So you say to yourself, yeah, it was great that the fight went on, and I get it, but how does that benefit Deontay Wilder going out on his shield, getting beat up for those additional? You can make an argument that the fight possibly could have been stopped maybe in the ninth or 10th round. So how did going those extra rounds benefit Deontay Wilder at all, right? I mean, you could say that it made the fight more entertaining because after Wilder did get knocked down in that 10th round, he did come back, landed a good right hand, a couple good right hands in that round, right? Showed heart and grit, but at the end of the day, he took more punishment in this third fight than he did in the second fight, in my opinion. Right? So I don't know if this benefits Deontay Wilder from a career standpoint by being able to say I went out on my shield last night, but without a question, what we can say unequivocally is because of the heart that he showed, he made this fight, in my opinion, the best heavyweight fight that I've seen in the last decade. In my opinion. Now, I know some people would say Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, but I just love the way this fight ended. It had an emphatic ending. It had ebbs and flows to it, and both fighters showed heart. And Wilder did have that little moment in the 10th round. So, but here's another thing too. When you look at the inside game of Fury, even in the clinches, when you're in a clinch with somebody, if you have the dominant position where your arms are on top of the other opponent's arms and he's underneath holding you, right? When your arms are on top of his arms and his arms are underneath you, you're forcing that guy to hold you. And you're not going to tell me the 240 pounds, along with Fury's 277 pounds, having to carry the extra weight on yourself in Fury's weight, you're not going to tell me that didn't have an impact on Wilder fatiguing. Because once again, he doesn't have the legs to carry that extra weight in the upper body, in my opinion. So if you watch closely, every time they locked up in a clinch, Fury always had his arms on the top position and Wilder had his arms underneath. So Fury was constantly pushing down, forcing Wilder to have to hold his weight, right? And as I said, when they got in the clinches, I just think Wilder should have pushed his way out of those clinches and slid back and stepped off to the side. And even Malik Scott was telling him, you got to pivot out. You got to pivot out. You got to pivot out. If you heard Malik Scott in the corner, he said you got to pivot out, right? Even JD said it a couple times. You got to pivot out. Don't allow this guy to lay on you. I know it's easier said than done. I know Fury just got that way of imposing his size and his will on you, but you can't fight fire with fire, as I said. You can't fight fire with fire, as I said. And there was also talk that, and I don't know how true this was, but maybe Wilder hurt his right hand in the fight. And as I said, I said that having them MX gloves after not using them MX gloves for a while, right? He didn't use those MX gloves for a while after 2016, after he broke his hand. After he broke his hand in that Areola fight, he also broke his wrist, tore his bicep. After that, right, he stopped using those MX gloves. So those MX gloves may be puncher's gloves, but they're not good for protecting the hand compared to the power locks, right? So did he injure his hand in the fight? Because they were saying that he was kind of shaking his hand a little bit in between rounds. So I don't know. We may come out with something that he may have injured his hand. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news. Remember, after the second fight, everyone went quiet for a while, and then like a month later, that's when all the excuses started coming out, right? So again, I don't want to stir the pot here, but I don't want to hear, oh well, Fury got a long count in the fourth round. I don't want to hear, oh, Fury was wrestling and mauling and getting Wilder in headlocks. That's why he tired him out. The ref should have taken points away. So again, I don't want to hear all that shit. And then we may hear, well, you know, Wilder broke his hand in the fight, so he couldn't throw his right hand, whatever, right? But like I said, I seriously question whether or not any other heavyweight in the world outside of Tyson Fury would have made it out of that fourth round. And you have to understand as well, there was like a minute left of the round after those two knockdowns occurred, right? There was a minute left after those two knockdowns occurred. So again, we don't know. I believe that no other heavyweight in the world would have made it out of that round. That's just my opinion. You could disagree if you want. That's what I welcome here. I don't want an echo chamber. If you think I'm wrong, you tell me if I'm wrong. Right? You just tell me if I'm wrong if you think I'm wrong. Right? You tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I do not think I'm wrong. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens with Wilder. Could this be the end for Wilder? Could he come back, or did this fight just take too much time off his career? Did this put too much and take too many miles off the odometer for Deontay Wilder? That's what I'm curious to see. That's what I'm curious to see. So we'll see, man. We'll see if this was the end. We'll see if this is the end for Wilder, if he can come back. But I will say this, if he does come back, you know, he's got to stop with this bulking up. I don't think this bulking up helped him at all. You know, I don't think it helped me at all. I really don't. Excuse me for a second. I'm dealing with some of these texts here. So if there's like a little bit of pause here, I'm trying to stay focused here, but I'm just replying to some text here. So I apologize for that. You know, yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, guys. I didn't see a ton of changes. I did see him try to go to the body early, but after the first round, I kind of think he reverted back to his old self. And after the second round, you started seeing him gas. And then definitely after that fifth round, Fury just took over from round 6 to 11, and we just saw a totally different. We saw a totally different Deontay Wilder from the sixth round on, right? I agree with C Line. He said, I think if we saw Wilder was 219, he could have put up a better fight. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. Guys, we got 18 watching. Can everyone please hit the like button? I get tired of saying it every show. Every video, I get tired of saying it. Just get tired of saying it. I don't think I should have to say it. I'm going to ask a poll question. Is Wilder finished? No, is Wilder the second best heavyweight in the world? Yeah. I still think that a Joshua Wilder fight would be intriguing. I really do. But I just think it's so hard for the two sides to still think it would be still too hard for the two sides to kind of work together and agree upon the good conditions of the fight. Would Wilder have done any better in the clinch between 210 and 220? I mean, he's never going to do good in the clinches. So what he needs to do is avoid clinches. And when he is clinched, he needs to abbreviate that time that Fury is leaning on him. So as soon as he starts seeing Fury lean on him, he's got to try to push off and slide back and pivot out or slide off to the right and let Fury fall forward. He can't try to fight fire with fire and just think that I'm gonna out Fury Tyson Fury. You can't out Fury Tyson Fury. You can't do it. I just don't think it's a good strategy to try to even do that. Not a big fan of that, guys. Sorry. I'm just not a big fan of that. Can't out Fury Tyson Fury. Just don't think you can do it. So is Deontay Wilder the second best heavyweight in the world? 78% said no, 22% said yes. And I got to call out some of these channels, these pro Wilder channels, because I have no problem with these people showing Deontay Wilder the respect and complimenting him on the heart and courage he showed last night. Because again, let's be honest and let's be fair. It takes two fighters to make a great fight. You can't have a great fight with just one fighter. The other fighter has to do something as well to make the fight great, right? So Wilder did make that fight very interesting, and he did try to come back in the 10th round. Did have you could argue that he won rounds 1, 4, and 5. I had him winning rounds 1 and 4 on my card, but round 5 could have gone either way. But you can make an argument Wilder may have won round 5, whatever the case may be. So and obviously the two knockdowns in round 4 really made the fight extremely interesting and intriguing. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that Wilder showed heart, but I do think that Fury proved that he is clearly the best heavyweight in the world last night. I really do think he proved that he is the best heavyweight in the world last night. And I think so. What I was gonna say is everyone wants everyone I hear Wilder fans telling Fury fans, "Oh well, show Wilder respect. He showed a lot of heart and grit, even though he lost. Give him credit for hanging in there." We'll give Fury credit for doing what he did. I don't see anyone saying, "Oh, congratulations to Tyson Fury. He came up off the canvas after being knocked down twice. He showed heart too." Like, why aren't the Wilder fans showing Tyson Fury credit? They want us to not dump all over Deontay Wilder, but nobody's changing their tune. Nobody's changing their tune about Tyson Fury over on the Wilder side, right? Nobody's changing their tune over on the Wilder side. And I guarantee you, I hate to say this, and I don't want to stir the pot, but I know there's going to be, just like last time, maybe not now, maybe not right away, but maybe next week, the week after, 3 weeks later, I know people are going to come out and say, "Oh, well, there was a long count in the 4th round," right? Just because Andre Ward said it, everyone's going to co-sign on that, right? Then they're going to say, "Oh, well, the referee. I told you the referee shouldn't have been allowed to fight. I don't like that referee change. He allowed Tyson Fury to wrestle with Wilder too much and get him in headlocks." I know that's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. But I am curious to see if Deontay Wilder did hurt his right hand. They were saying that he was moving doing something funny with his right hand in between rounds. I think it was after the 4th round or so. So let's see, because he did hit Fury on the top of the, like on the forehead. That's a hard part of the head, so he did hit Fury on the bony part of the head. Didn't hit him like on the jaw or the cheek or the eye area. He hit him on the bony part of the head. And then the second punch, he hit him like on the temple area. So let's see if he did injure his hand. I wasn't a big fan of him switching to those MX gloves, because those were the gloves he broke his hand back in 2016 using. So I don't think that was a great move either. According to 78 Sports TV, he hurt his hand. We called it. Yeah, I mean, again, they're going to start making excuses. They are going to start making excuses. So I said that he possibly could hurt his hand using those gloves. I don't think you should change at the last minute, change your gloves to a glove that you stopped using and you haven't used for 5 years. So you love the switch. It's so funny. I was talking to Brian, my friend Brian, and I was telling him, I said, I don't like the glove change. I don't like the glove change. Right? I don't love the glove change. What's up, hater? What's up, hater?
Wait, okay, no, that's not a good way to start. Why would you say I'm a hater?
I just fucking with you. I love you. I'm just fucking.
Oh yeah, hey, congratulations, B. You've been riding in Fury from the jump. You
can't congratulate me. I didn't do anything, man. All I do is give the guy support, man. I'm not in the corner or anything.
Let me give my piece. I'm just saying, like you've been riding Fury from the start, all from the days when you was in a boxing voice away. Fury's come along, and I finally had to give him credit today. I had to listen. The guy's a total package, man. I mean. I work in amateur gyms and I teach my fighters how to hold and work inside. And that's where Wilder's game was complete. That's Malik. He never did that when he was a fighter. And that was the finishing puzzle. Fury is what you call the total package. And that's the front foot, back foot, inside, back foot. He had to move his head. He you can see already he was this way schooled. And also with Sugar Hill, with the experience, that kind of like determination to get the job done, to finish Wilder off, man, that was it, man. He's a problem, and congratulations to Tyson Fury. That's all I can say, bro. Like that was a great performance. There was a controversial people were talking about the count. I said to so when I watched it back now, what's up, D-Stars? When I saw the count, I counted it when he hit the ground. Fury was up at 9, so there's no controversy there. And if there was, Fury still finished them off. So Wilder had a chance to try and finish him off. He couldn't do it. You know what I mean? They had a good game plan, but game plans are like good when you get hit. And Wilder reverted back to his old style, and Fury finished them off, and it was an epic fight. You're on your seat up and even to the last minute. Can Wilder pull it off? But I think the referee done a good job of pulling it out. Wilder still kind of said he didn't want to shake his hand, and that's fine. That's fine, but it doesn't matter. Like Fury moves on, and we move on. We anyone who watched that fight can't tell me that Tyson Fury is the number 1 heavyweight in the world. There's no doubt about that. He is the number 1 heavyweight in the world, and lucky for us in the UK that Tyson Fury brings the belts back home to the UK. So we're kind of happy about that. AJ's got some work to do. I don't know if he gets through, but I don't think when it comes down to Fury, boy, he is an absolute problem. With him and Sugar Hill, that is a serious winning combination. No excuses. No one to hear no argument. I don't want to hear nothing. If anyone says anything contrary, I want to make an excuse about the gloves and I want to be the cow. I don't want to be around you, man. Like, you can't take away. Wilder had opportunities to put Fury down. The man that knockout he got, I think it was the first knockdown was, oh man, you see Fury was hurt, man. You know what I mean? The second one, he was still hurt, but that man just got off the canvas and came back and brought hell. You know what I mean? Wilder as well got off the canvas now. Yo, man. People saying about their chin, they have tremendous passion and heart. I wish AJ would have showed that. I wish AJ would have showed that I
don't think anyone would have got up in the 4th round.
Come on, it was amazing. AJ didn't quit or anything. Like AJ fought to the end.
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the passion. I'm talking about the passion they showed in the fight. These two, AJ was just following the game plan and just letting it out. He never once said, "Yo, I've had enough of this shit. I'm gonna go for it." And that's what you saw in this fight. This fight was a classic trilogy, and it goes up there with some of the great trilogies there. Every fight was great, and I look forward to see what happens next. But the heavyweight division is back. In fact, boxing around the world. Anyone saw that, they got to be a fan of boxing. You can make a movie on that shit. That shit was amazing. But yeah, man, big up B-Star, big up Divine Boxing as well, Divine Sense Boxing as well.
What's up, Divine? How you doing, brother?
Nice one, Joe Smart.
Yeah, good, doing good, man. I figure I'll just go ahead and jump on here and get it over with. I know you guys are coming out.
So let me first say this. Because I came on first. In fairness, right? I had to listen to E-Jazz playing. Let me first say this before I say anything. So I went to a theater, right, to watch this fight. It's the first time I ever watched a boxing fight at a theater, ever. And it was like a last-minute decision. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to a theater to watch this shit. I was about to order it. I said, it's going to be cheaper, like just $20 at the theater. So I went to a theater, and to my surprise, it's this big theater, it's like 7 people. Like, I'm like, that's it? Like, what the fuck's going on over here? Maybe a couple more people showed up afterwards, but I remember my prediction right because I said it's going to go decision no matter who wins. There should be no knockdowns. Like, I remember I said that. So in it was a third. Like, when he knocks, like, the fight started slow, and I'm like, okay, this is going like I thought it would. And then Fury gets a knockdown. You know, like, the first thing in my mind is, and maybe it's like the ego wanting to get the prediction right. I know, like, I remember I said, no, not right now, or I said something like that. Right, and I'm the only one like groaning in there, and then like everybody's like going crazy. So like I get this feeling of like, okay, it's the same shit's gonna happen. And then in the 4th round, so Wilder finally catches him with the shot that Fury walked into, right, which I've been waiting for, right, just to see what would happen. He goes down, right. But there was only a couple seconds left. But I rewatched it. It wasn't as bad, but live, I thought it was like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he gets knocked down again, you know. And anyway, it was just one of those crazy. Like, the first thing in my mind was, well, I got this one wrong, right? And then, you know, after that, it was just kind of like I watched the rest of the fight, and I started just enjoying it for what it was, right? But I will say this, as people go back and rewatch that fight, you know, even those that already know, we already know the result, we already know what happened. But there's something special that's there when you watch a fight, and there's and like in this fight, I don't know if you guys felt the same thing. I was like in the edge of my seat because I felt like any one punch can change everything, or even in the fight. That's how I felt throughout the entire fight. Even while Fury was beating down Deontay Wilder in the last 2-3 rounds, I still kind of felt that way a little bit. I did see like Wilder's hand shaking a little bit in one of the rounds, right? And I suspect that he broke it. But anyway, there's something that kind of evaporates into thin air. That feeling evaporates and is like gone after the fight's over. Right? Like, it just kind of like you either acknowledge that you felt it or you don't. People could say, oh, I knew the whole time Fury was going to win. No doubt in my mind. Right? I never had that no doubt. I had that feeling. And because of that, and I think everyone felt it, or most people. And that's why you have so many people coming out saying it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. This is like, you have The Rock come out saying, I never seen a fight like that. You have Aram saying, I've never seen a fight like that. Everyone in the theater, I kind of went up to all of them and talked to them. They all said the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that feeling.
Boxing won yesterday.
Yeah. That feeling evaporates after the fight's over, right? So somebody, like, let's say they decide not to watch boxing last night, and they go back and you go watch the replay, right? Well, you already know the result, so you kind of know, like, you're going to watch it without that. Maybe people will watch it and be like, wow, is this really the fight of the year? I mean, to me, it was. Because I'm never going to forget that feeling. I just wanted to start off just by saying that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Divine. You want to chime in with your thoughts?
Yeah, how you guys doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Enjoying the moment, enjoying the victory.
Well,
got the prediction right.
I'll be honest with you. the other two guys really don't like Fury. I'm the only Fury fan on this panel. D-Style does not like Tyson Fury. Neither. I don't think EJ likes him that much either. So yeah, I'm the only fan, so I'm the only one that's kind of happy. But I still feel a little bit bad for Wilder too, because I like Wilder too, but I just love Fury.
But to your point, Divine, I mean, I think I don't know if Divine means like oh,
No, it's out of good faith.
One of those fanboys, so he's happy. But I think you mean like the site that felt that this was inevitable, that Fury was going to win.
Yeah.
Like, are you talking about?
I mean,
maybe it's just the fact that people, when they pick somebody, that feeling of getting their prediction right too. That could be that part of it as well.
It was a polarizing fight where you had.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Just getting your prediction right. That's what I meant. I mean,
I
wasn't trying to be sarcastic.
No, I got you.
Yeah. I saw you jump on live, and I figured I'll come on here. And I heard D-Style's video earlier today, and he said something about feasting for the crows and all that. I get it. I've been there before. Multiple times, so I know where you're coming from. I watched the fight live. I had my man Brian Macie on there with me. I told you guys about him earlier. He won the Nationals back in '99. We had a very good live stream during the entire fight. Such an amazing fight. After the fight, of course, me being a Deontay Wilder fan and supporter, a lot of the chat was a bit stunned, to say the least, at the end of the fight. But I just had to remind people that as much as I was going for Wilder, and I thought he did, I did believe that in this fight, he's going to shock everyone. I always knew that Tyson Fury is going to be a problem. I just know too much about boxing to just be that ignorant, to be like, oh, no, Wilder's just going to come and just knock him out in the first round. And, every time I went live, I allowed my subscribers to say, oh, leave your predictions. And I saw a lot of people, KO in 2, KO in 3, KO in 1. And, and I noticed that. But in my mind, I'm thinking my official prediction was 8. I thought Wilder would get a big punch around 8 or 9. That was my prediction. And I just want to just leave some thoughts here about how I saw the fight just real quickly. I scored it at the time of the stoppage 94-92 for Fury. I gave Wilder the first round, the fourth and fifth round. The fourth round was a 10-7 round, obviously. And I gave Wilder the ninth round. The one round that surprised me the most, actually, is not the fourth round. I mean, the fourth round, obviously, I jumped out of my seat. I thought it was over. I thought it was it. I was like, it's over. Especially when he got dropped the second time in the fourth round. I just thought for some reason Fury didn't have his legs. And I wasn't sure if it was he just couldn't find his feet, because he didn't get hit with the hard shot when he went down the second time. So I just thought he doesn't have his legs. And I thought it was over, man. And Fury got up. And by the way, want to put this out there. I've already debunked the whole long count thing, even on my own channel. I had to put that to rest because after the fight, they're like, oh, Divine, you got to check out the long count. I was like, okay, time out. Everyone calm down. So I played the video and I did the whole, 1, 2, and the one thing that I told people was there was a little bit of disconnection with the ref and the scorekeeper. The ref had it at 7, and it was clearly like 8. It was like 8.5, 9, whatever. But he got up before 10 at the end of the day. And you got to get up at 10. Not at 8, not at 7. Fury knew. You can tell he was clear-headed. He knew he's looking at the ref. He knew how much time he had. He's been there before. He's been on the canvas before. He knows what he's got to do. But that round didn't surprise me the most, actually. It was the 10th round when Wilder was dropped again. And I thought it was over. I thought, okay, Wilder's done. He's falling apart. Legs are gone. And he fought back the last 15 seconds. And he hurt Fury. Fury got wobbled again and had to hang on. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, where is Wilder coming up with this last 15 seconds, like, adrenaline rush? But I want people to understand that was a gamble on Wilder's part. I think the fight, it may have went 12, maybe. If he would have held on, he would have lost that fight regardless. But I'll tell you this. It was a gamble for him to go deep into the gas tank and literally empty his tank in that 10th round to try and land something big, because when he came out in the 11th, he was completely spent. He had 0 left. And Fury knew it. He said, all I got to do is just chop him down now. It's just a matter of time. He was completely defenseless, couldn't keep his hands up, going straight backwards, and it was over. But that last little 15 seconds, when I think he got Fury with like a left hook or like a shovel left hook or something, and Fury buckled. And that moment, I was like, if he gets a knockout here, I'm going to lose my mind, because Wilder's done. Like, it's over. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now, just a real quick note on the stylistic point of fight. I've already had to humble myself and eat crow, obviously, on my channel. I didn't get my prediction right. I feel okay about it because the fight was so good. I am not disappointed at all. My head is not hanging low. And I told Wilder supporters, be humble in defeat. And understand that this is what happens in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division. And I spent a large amount of time on my channel afterwards explaining to people that, okay, now that we've got this out of the way, let me explain something to you guys. Because people were saying, I thought Wilder was too heavy. He put on that extra weight. He should have came in at 220. There's a reason why he came in with that weight, because he thought that if I had a bit more, body, more muscle to my body, I'm be able to work in the clinch. But to your point, Joe, you said it earlier, Wilder's never good at working it. Why do you want to work in the clinch with Tyson Fury? Why?
Can't do it.
You can't. So the extra muscle was really, okay, gave him a little bit of extra power maybe, but you already know you can hurt Fury when you dropped him in the first fight at 212 pounds, right? With foam gloves on, right? Not the MX gloves that you put on. So, you can hurt him at 212, so why go 238, 240? Because you want to work in the clinch. Why would you want to work in the clinch anyway?
Yeah.
But I told people on my channel that, look, naturally speaking, Fury is a big man. He's a big man, genetically, And Wilder is a heavyweight, but he's a small heavyweight in regards to his weight. He's probably naturally 215-ish, 220-ish guy, right? And when you put on that extra muscle mass and not have the strength in your lower body, you're going to get worn down very, very quickly. And, I had to tell people that, look, you have to understand that if you don't put enough work in the gym, and I'm not saying he should have done a 5,000 squats with 400 pounds. That's not what I'm saying. But when your legs get tired, I referred back to when I used to box when I was younger, my legs always got tired first before anything else. Your quads are one of the biggest muscles in your body. It requires the most amount of oxygen and blood supply. If those quads burn out, those are fast twitch muscle fibers. Once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. Game over. And Wilder lost his legs in probably third, maybe fourth round. And from there, it was just pure will and determination at that point. And so Fury went out. I don't, you guys can leave your thoughts. I don't think Fury did what he had to do. I don't think that it was his best performance.
I don't think so either.
I think that he could have done.
It wasn't. Yeah, defensively, it wasn't his best performance.
Yeah, when he got dropped in the fourth, that's something that Fury should have never happened. He was like, he was just like this. And Wilder said, blah, blah.
If you notice, Fury kind of put his head down a little bit and took his eye off Wilder for that split second, and that's why the punch hit him in the forehead, I thought.
Yeah, and it's weird to read Wilder because he looks hurt. It's like, oh, I got him hurt, because normally when a fighter's backing up like that with his hands down, wobbly, it's like, I got him hurt, right? But Wilder all of a sudden just pulls this power out of nowhere and just slams you in the face with it, and next thing you know, you're on the canvas, And I think that Wilder, when the history books are written, regardless of rather he continues, he retires, whatever the case is, I mean, he's going to go down as one of the most devastating power punchers the heavyweight division has ever seen.
Yeah.
Even, he's not a 240 pounder as a 212, 215 heavyweight. He's going to go down as one of the most devastating punchers. You know what I mean? And that's something that, hate him or love him, you can't take that away from him. That equalizer is like D-Style said, it's like Fury's winning, but you're just at the edge of your seat, because if Wilder lands something, that's it, right? We've seen Wilder do it so many times, even when he's losing a fight. But just real quickly, I don't want to take over the show here.
That's fine.
But I wanted to come on here, and, out of good faith, and, eat my crow humbly. I'll talk a little bit about it on my channel a little bit later tonight, I guess, for you guys in the States, and break it down a little bit more. But, I just wanted to come out here firsthand and let you guys know, look, I predicted Usyk to beat Joshua, so I guess this fight levels that off a little bit. And I guess, to be completely honest with you, I was confident that Wilder was going to win. I don't want to make it seem like I'm changing my tune, but I want to say I think my emotions got the best of me in the sense of I wanted an American heavyweight to win. I wanted an American heavyweight to have a chance to bring the titles back home and become an undisputed. And perhaps I let that taint my normal judgment of going for the more technical fighter, which you guys both know I normally go for. Hence why I was always a Mayweather fan. And hence why I picked Ugas to beat Pacquiao. And so I went against my better judgment because I've always been a fan of Wilder. I like Wilder, and I wanted to see the American heavyweight claim the victory. And that's just eating a piece of my little humble pie, I guess you can say. And at the end of the day, though, like I said, I don't really feel bad about it. If Fury would have destroyed Wilder and completely dominated the fight, I'd probably feel like shit today. But the fact that it was a great fight, anybody who paid money for this fight, like myself, you got nothing to complain about. The undercard was lit. The undercard was great. And I want to give a special shout out to Sanchez. What a masterclass this guy is. Completely took me by surprise. Great boxing, ring generalship. And so the undercard was great. The main event was exciting. It's going to go down as one of those fights that we're going to, tell our kids about, our grandkids about, as one of the great fights in the heavyweight division.
I agree. And I just think too that Fury knows how to use his size. And when I say that, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but when you get in a clinch and you're the guy that has your arms on the top and the other guy has his arms underneath you, you're forcing that guy to carry you, hold you, right? So people can say what they want, how this wasn't a skillful fight from either fighter. This wasn't a classic boxing match. But once again, if you look at some of the little nuances and subtleties that Fury did, if you notice when Fury had him, when he'd grab him, then he would stick the forearm, and then he would slide over to his right, and then he would shoot the uppercut. Fury just knows how to manipulate his opponent with his size and his movement. So this wasn't just a sloppy, mauling fight. I don't agree with that. I thought both guys showed skill in this fight. Wilder, did telegraph the right hand when he got tired and he was hurt, but he was throwing it straight early on. He was going to the body. He had a game plan, and it looked good for the first 3 or 4 rounds, right? But then, Fury just made his adjustment. So I'm not gonna. This wasn't Ward Gotti. It wasn't Ward Gotti. Both guys showed flashes of skill in this fight. I think Fury again, knowing how to use that body on the inside,
Well,
it wasn't like
look.
he wasn't like he just threw himself at Wilder and was trying to tackle him. He grabbed him, he leaned on him, he turned him.
You got to give Rafael a break, though, Beeb. I mean, his boy Joshua lost. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, but you got to cut him a break. He got his boy got beat up by John.
Again,
it is what it is. Like, he's not top 3.
People.
What are we gonna do? You know what I mean? When your dude's not even top 3, you got to talk about skill and all that other good stuff. But I don't. But that's that aside. Let me say this to clarify what I said in my video, and I mean every word that I said in my video, like every single one, right? That it's not like this is a lot of things happen, right? And the truth is, Divine, you weren't around for a lot of it, but a lot of things happen in the aftermath of the Fury Wilder rematch, right?
Right. Which I'm still learning about it now.
So, well, a lot of things happen in the aftermath, right? And to me, a lot of Wilder fans, and I'm not saying all of them, don't just get to move on. Like just say, oh, what a great fight. Well, man, that was great, guys, and just move on, okay? Because there was content creators that talked about Sugar Hill dying in a car crash, right? That accused Mark Brulin of drugging. Okay, there was content creators that make this a racial thing, right? I was called a racist because I didn't buy into Glovegate, right? So, like, to me, yeah, like, a lot of y'all out there wanted a trial by combat. You got it, right? I guess Fury won the trial. So now, since he's won the trial by combat that you wished for, it's a day of reckoning. So there's a lot of content creators out there have it coming, what you have coming, and they know exactly what it is at the end of the day, right? So I'm just putting that out there, right? So over here on this side, all right, and what I mean by that is, HCP, right? We like to talk boxing, right? We keep it boxing. We don't do racial narratives or nothing like that, right? We invite different perspectives to come speak, right? And give their thoughts. That's what we do on this side. To me, honestly speaking, Divine, a lot of, not that there's not echo chambers in other spots, but a lot of the Wilder fans were in an echo chamber. And I didn't see many counterpoints or Fury fans on their panels, giving a counter argument. I didn't see any of that. I saw a lot of agreeing, self-assurance, right? I saw a lot of reassurance, like, oh no, like, and I'm not saying you, right? But plenty of them saying things like, well, look, he clearly cheated in the rematch. So that's the only reason he hurt him. That's the only reason he dropped him. This power came out of nowhere. Just stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, you don't just say things like that. You don't just accuse a fighter of committing an assault and think that it's all good and dandy, right? And while I could appreciate the thought that we should all support the American heavyweight, while I could appreciate that, at the end of the day, I do need to measure it by his character. At the end of the day, Fury walked up to him. Fury walked from his corner, right? Usually the guy that loses is the one that does it, right? But he goes to his corner, and according to Fury, right? He told him that, no, I don't respect you. I don't want to greet you. I don't want to shake your hand, right? So to me, well, I believe that the Bronze Bomber I was a fan of is there somewhere, right? I need him to have some humble pie and just admit that he lost, okay? And me saying that, because there's some people that will make it racial and they'll say things like, oh, you wanted a black man to submit, and like no, it's not about none of that shit. It's what I expect from every fighter. Every single fighter, all races, creeds, and religions, to be a good sport and to accept defeat. Okay? I expect that from every fighter, and I have the receipts to prove that. So Wilder needs to accept this loss. I want to give a special shout out to Tay Jones. All right. The first thing he did was congratulate Deontay Wilder, and he said no excuses, right, on Twitter. So he's part of Team Wilder. That sounds great, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you know, in defense of Divine Sense, I don't think he should have to, be part of what that other stuff. I don't think he was part of the other stuff. And if you root for a guy, it's okay to root for a guy. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the biggest Sugar Ray Leonard fan of all time. I love the guy to death. But when he fought Terry Norris, what did I say? I said, I love my man Sugar Ray Leonard, but I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to beat Terry Norris, but I want him to win. I'll be pulling for him. But I just didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, because I see the chat and people are saying, "Oh, Divine said that Wilder's legs wasn't looking right and he was perpetuating all this stuff." Look, to D Styles' point, I came in late. I wasn't here after the second fight. I don't know what was said behind the scenes. I don't know about all the beefs between channels.
Yeah.
I don't know about any of that. I'm learning. So when I said I'm learning as I go, is I'm learning about what the channels were saying about each other. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Now, when I did a film study of the second fight, I did say Wilder didn't look right.
I don't think he did either. I don't think he did either.
That's not me saying, oh, he doesn't look right because his water was spiked. He could have been lacking electrolytes. He could have had a bad day. He could have had a fight with his wife. He could have go and deal with a lot of different stuff, right? But because I say Wilder doesn't look right, I'm automatically casted in that group of people that is assuming that he had his water spiked. And so for me, it's like when it comes to Breland, it's just, when people start bringing it up, because I was talking about the fight way before I even heard about anything about Breland spiking the water. I was catching on that like way late. So when I go and watch the fight, only thing that I would say is, Breland said he wasn't handling the water, but that he was giving water to Wilder after every round. When I do an observation, I let people think for themselves. See, this is the problem, in my opinion, Joe, and D-Style, with all due respect. And I'm not going to address a certain individual in the chat right now because, quite honestly, it's not worth my energy.
Yeah, you're not going to change people's minds. Like you said
before,
and
it's like, and it's all about boxes. You either on my team or you're on their team.
Yeah. Nobody
can just talk boxing and try to just, hey, here's an observation. What do you guys think? You're not allowed to have that type of thing. You got to be, you either against it or you with it. Which one are you going to choose? And in my opinion, that's a problem. And so when you have that situation going on, we can't have these type of discussions that we're having right now without somebody trying to disrupt it. D-Style said earlier, hey, we want to talk boxing. If I didn't appreciate you guys, and I know that certain people that support me don't like you guys.
I know that.
But I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about that. I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to operate the way I want to operate.
Yeah.
Period.
No borders.
So just one thing I want to say though, when you say, so I want you to elaborate on this. When you say, I let people think for themselves, right? No, look, I'm all for everyone having their own mind and all that, right? At the end of the day, like if you, as content creators, people watch us for our opinion, right? They want to know what we specifically think. I think we need to take ownership for the things we say, regardless of the platform, regardless of where we are, because what we say is our thoughts. You know what I mean? Now, John Boxing pound for pound best is clearly wrong. Okay, like obviously he's wrong, right? But that's not here nor there. Okay, this idea that these narratives are like, oh, that's what the people that hate Wilder. Beeb, did I hate Wilder?
Oh,
who did I pick Wilder? Who did I pick to win in the first two fights?
Wilder.
That's it. Now, granted, I don't pick guys like when I make a boxing prediction, it's never based on who I like, right? There's been plenty of fights where I'll say the following. I'm picking so-and-so to win, but I hope this guy wins, right? That's totally possible. We need to learn how to separate the two things, all right? But at the end of the day, like a lot of what was said, there are receipts, and like it's in it. Like I'm just saying right now, it's empirical. Like that's what it is. Okay, there's empirical data and information of the things that were said. Okay, like I have comments of things that were left on my YouTube. Like it's not. This is not just some pie in the sky shit that I'm just gonna make up. Okay, now. I'm not even saying it's like that serious. I'm just saying there needs to be consequences. So this is what I want. I want like a real, like I want to see ownership. I want to see people say, you know what? Just like you did right now. Wilder won. I'm sorry. Tyson Fury won the fight. Yeah. He's the winner. He gets credit first before anybody gives Wilder anything, right? So you need to give the winner the credit first, right? And then if people want it afterwards, secondary is second place. Oh, but I give Wilder credit too as well. I need to see, from certain fan bases out here, credit to Fury and a consistent credit. Not okay. I don't want to see the switcheroo, and everybody knows what I mean by the switcheroo. We're not going to play revisionist history, okay? Because after the second fight, a lot of dudes were humble and giving credit Fury all types of credit too, all right? And then young Pharaoh came out, and then the energy changed, okay? It changed dramatically. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next coming days, Divine, quite frankly. I don't know what's going to happen in the echo chambers out there. And that's what I'm waiting for. I want people to take ownership. It's time to give Tyson Fury his credit. Okay, not in the immediate aftermath, like literally, like moving forward. It's in the history books. It's stamped. It's done. It's sealed. Delivered. I'm not here to play revisionist history with people. Okay, that are going to want to play revisionist history. You know. So that's all I want to say.
Well, I don't want to speak for Divine, but in his defense, I don't think you should have to inherit other people's beefs. And I'm not saying you're saying that, but I think there is a perception out there that he does. Now, before I let you go, Divine, I know Ralph's been waiting. I'll just let Ralph go because he has a different opinion on this fight, and he has a right to say it as well, even though I disagree with it. Go ahead, Ralph.
Well, first of all, greetings. Good afternoon. Live from the UK.
AJ, that's why he jumped on. You know what I mean? But
live from the UK. These Styles, what's up? Divine, I never spoke to you before. Hello, and of course, Habib. How you doing, gentlemen?
How you doing?
I'm real good, man. I'm real good. We had to stay up way late last night. Some Wilder shenanigans made it even later than it had to be. In the changing room, towel over the camera. But when they got in there, when they did finally get in there, it was a very, very interesting spectacle. Wilder came out. You could see that he'd been working with a change of trainer, going to the body. My concern with that was how long was he going to be able to do that? Wilder is a low output guy. He don't throw many punches. Therefore, that for what we saw in the first round, to my mind, was unsustainable. It was a mere 2 rounds later, where it appeared to me that Wilder had no legs again. But he did not come in with a heavy suit. He came in with a robe. But yet, once again, Wilder had no legs after the 3rd round. That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. He was doing the bench pressing instead of the squats. He's doing bench pressing instead of squats. He's saying he's doing squats so he can push the guy off. You don't push the guy off with bench presses. You push the guy off from the feet. It's from the feet up. Should have been squats he was reporting on. We should have been seeing PBs of squats and deep squats too. Lunge.
He was pulling the sled, though. He was pulling the sled.
Was he? Oh, I never saw.
There was one footage when he was doing that. We got to give him credit for that.
Well, this is what happens, and we keep it real.
Let me just finish what I'm saying, please.
Sure.
So he was. Yeah, I just started, bro. He was just pulling this. He was just doing squat. He's doing bench presses instead of squats. Okay, so nonsense, absolute nonsense. It makes me question. I work in the health industry, by the way. It makes me question the whole damn camp. Okay, fine. So okay, we go on now. We go on. We move on. Right. So he's throwing undisciplined shots, but he's always done that. That's throughout his career. That's what he's done. He's done that. Okay. So Fury's moving back away from the power. He's still throwing those shots. He's not closing the distance first. He's not turning the man. He's letting Fury turn him. Yeah. So, long story short, it was an exciting fight, but that wasn't elite skills for me. What that demonstrated to me is that Wilder can punch, but he can't box. He can punch, but he can't box. Limited cardio. So it shows that he was a built-up fighter. When he goes in there with the elite, he had one good fight with him, and that was the first one. Okay. Credit to Fury Wilder. He had one good fight, and that was the first one. But after that, the two subsequent fights, that was not elite boxing from Wilder. I'm sorry, that is not elite. That is not.
Define boxing for me.
Not elite. Boxing is the art of employing skills to hit your opponent.
Too vague. Like break it down. Like, what do you mean by skills?
It's okay. Well, first of all, generally speaking, because not everybody uses the jab, but generally speaking, it starts with the jab. Generally, not always. It also involves head movement. In my book, elite boxers have head movement. What we saw there was Wilder, when he was under attack, he would go straight back with his head high up in the air, like a racehorse. That is not elite. So it requires elite defensive skills as well. Going back with your head all the way up is not elite defense. It involves...
AJ didn't move his head against Usyk, so I guess it's not elite, right?
Sorry? Well,
AJ didn't have really good head movement against Usyk.
Wilder or Joshua? I'm not talking about Joshua. If you want to talk about Joshua, we can talk about Joshua.
Okay. I was going by your definition, but okay.
I want to, but I'm talking about Wilder. So, no head movement. That is not elite. Where are the parries? Where are the feints? Where are the feints? Elite boxing involves those, to me, involves those components. What I saw from Wilder was not elite boxing. What I saw was a guy who was being protected his whole damn career. And we see the consequence when he steps up against an elite fighter.
Can I interrupt you for a second and ask you an honest question? And please try to answer it as honestly as possible if you can.
Will. I pledge allegiance to the... Yeah.
Do you think Anthony Joshua, after taking those two right hands that Tyson Fury took in that fourth round, do you think he would have made it through that round and lasted? And do you think after taking those right hands, he would have come back to win the fight?
You said you wanted an honest answer?
Yes.
I was doing a live show at the time, and I barely caught them. I think I missed the first one, but I saw a flush one that caught Fury nice and flush on the side of the head.
Yeah.
I don't know if Joshua would come back from that.
I'm going to put a gun to your head, and you're going to be forced to answer it yes or no. You can't say I don't know. I'm going to put a gun to your head. Your life depends on it. You have to answer yes or no. My answer is no. My answer is
honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Well, I think you don't want to answer it.
If you thought he would, you would have said yes.
If you thought he would, you would have said yes. So I'm going to take that as a no. Sorry.
You can take that as a no, but my honest answer is I don't know. And
that means no coming from you. Okay, Troy, let me let you get in here real quick. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to answer your question straightforward. Yes, he would have gotten up. He would have gotten up from the two right hands.
Would he have made it? Would he have made it? And would he have won the fight after that? Because he didn't recover from a left hook from Ortiz. So is he going to recover from a right hand from Wilder? Two right hands from Wilder.
He would have made it, and he would have finished, and he would have knocked him out in the fight. Yes.
I don't believe
that's my straight up answer.
I don't believe
you asked me for my answer, right?
I don't. That's your answer,
right?
My answer is I don't believe that. That's all.
Can I just say this though? Can I just interrupt for 1 second?
We'll do a poll.
We'll do a poll. I just want to interrupt for 1 second because it's very key. It's a key point. If you're asking me beyond that point, if you're asking me how, because you both brought up Joshua, if you're asking me how Joshua would have fared against either of those guys on that night, two overweight guys on that night, if you ask me who I'd put my money on that night, it's Anthony Joshua. I think it'll whoop both of them.
There's no way. There's no way, because he couldn't do that against the overweight Andy Ruiz in the first fight. So
yeah, and by the way, Rafa, I didn't just randomly just. It's not like, oh, why did you just randomly bring up AJ? Because you're talking, you're using the word elite. You're using the word that's not the level that you believe he's at. We got to compare it to other elite fighters.
The three guys are always going to be linked forever, so it doesn't matter.
They need to. Do we agree they need to fight each other? Do we agree that Tyson Fury needs to fight Dillian White next, who's a mandatory, and the winner of Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua? Do we agree that
100%?
We'll love to see that.
That's all I'm saying.
100%.
That's all I'm saying.
Dillian has to get past his opponent.
How many times does Joshua have to lose? Right, where like you don't even question Joshua, and it's okay, but you don't even question Joshua.
Yeah,
and he's lost badly twice.
Listen, let's not get it twisted. Over here in the UK, or
let's try to be at least a little bit objective here. I don't think you are.
Listen, my position is over here in the UK. We were hoping that Joshua would be Lennox Lewis.
He's not.
He is not. We've established that now. So the next thing we need to establish is we want to see Fury against Fury.
It took a lot to admit that, but okay.
No, it's easy, brother. If you listen to my channel, I always say, people say, oh, Rafi Joshua. And I say, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis. Every time. So let's all I can say, what I want to establish is that we all agree that what we want to see is Tyson Fury fight Dillian White next as the mandatory that has been asked to face, and then the winner, hopefully, the winner of Usyk Joshua. That's all I'm asking.
So Ralph,
nobody disagrees with you. Right?
Who's the best heavyweight in the world right now?
Who's the best heavyweight in the world right now? Well, you have to say it's Tyson Fury.
Okay.
Right now, but let's not proclaim him king until he's done what he needs to be king, which is fight his mandatory, Dillian White, and then fight the winner, hopefully, of Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. Then
you're admitting that he lost to the best heavyweight is what you're admitting. You just said he.
No, repeat what you just. Repeat what you just said to me. Lisa, what did you just say?
Oh. You're admitting that Wilder lost to the best heavyweight, so you don't know.
No. I'm saying, oh yes, yeah. Well, the best heavyweight now. Yes, we have to say that.
Why do you have to put now? I mean, everyone is the best till they're not the best. You don't
because to establish.
What does now mean?
The reason I'm saying this, Rafael, is because a lot of AJ fans are acting like he won or something. Like he didn't win. Fury beat him.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've made one video since I made the video, the fight video. And I've made a subsequent video talking about only those two. Yeah. Okay. So all I'm saying is to establish the king, the heavyweight king. We have to see them. We have to see the fights I've just mentioned.
I think the fight we need to see is AJ versus Wilder to settle that, because those two fan bases cheer when somebody else beats the other guy for some reason. Right. So it's time to just settle it. You know what I mean? And we'll put to the test how good Fury is against AJ. If this is an if, Rafael, if Wilder fought AJ, knocked out AJ, would you then say he's an elite fighter?
Wilder.
If Wilder knocks out AJ.
If Wilder knocks out AJ, I would say you said elite fighter. Elite fighter. Yeah, no boxer, but elite fighter, okay. Elite fighter.
Here's the thing.
Because just one quick thing, Beeb. Like, you don't just get to decide what boxer means. Like in other words,
it's a subjective word.
It's a subjective term.
It's a subjective term.
Well, do you think Wilder is an elite boxer? D-style.
Yes, because he's one of the top fighters in his division. Name me 5 guys better than Wilder.
No, he's never been classified as a boxer.
Name 5 guys better than Wilder. I concur with that. Name 5 guys better than Wilder.
Name 5 guys better than Wilder.
Name 5.
Usyk, Joshua, Fury, White, Parker. I just named 5.
Boom.
Parker?
He knocks White out.
He knocks
White's
White
not
out.
that good.
He knocks
Okay?
White out.
He knocks
Okay,
Didnt out.
hold on a second. Hold on a
Knocks White
second. I'm
out,
gonna tell
he
you.
knocks Parker out.
I'm gonna
You
no,
cannot.
hold
White-
on.
You cannot box
Hold
by
on a second.
Chisora. Why am I
White's
not?
too
Hold on
small.
a second, Elo. Let
What?
me explain to you. You know my names and my answers. I don't believe that he knocks out White because
I do.
no, because for 3 years he froze him out, and he sent him something on his phone that said he was going to freeze him out for 3 years. If he was such easy work,
But again, that doesn't mean anything.
no, yes it
Doesn't mean
does.
anything. Doesn't
Yes,
mean
it does.
anything.
Because why would you want to freeze out someone? Why would you want to freeze out someone that's? Listen to me now. Why would you want to freeze out someone that's such easy work to you?
Doesn't
And then
mean
there's Usyk, who's a boxer, so you ain't gonna beat him.
Can I ask you a question,
Parker,
Troy?
let me finish my thing first. Parker, who's another boxer, and you know he could take a punch. He's never been knocked out.
Lost to Chisora,
White is
man.
the
He got lucky. Come on, bro.
White. No. White is the only one that's ever knocked him down.
Question. It's gonna be a
Come
quick
on, bro.
question. Look,
Let me-
you're telling me right now you're going to like your breakdown of White versus Wilder is not okay. When they're in the ring, it's gonna happen. Like that's how you break down. Your breakdown is well. I mean, he froze him out. You know, he sent him a text, and to me, that means White would beat him. Is that? Are you seriously saying that's your breakdown? That's what you say.
That's ridiculous.
Anytime you tell a man you're gonna freeze him out for 3 years, and then you freeze him out for
Tyson
3 years.
Fury,
yes,
There
Tyson
has to be a
Fury's
reason.
story. That's your
There has
breakdown.
to be a reason why he did
Let
that.
me jump in here. Let me jump in here real quick. Once again, fighters talk shit all the time. Listen to some of the stuff Fury said over his career.
No, but it was a fact, though.
Let me finish.
It was a fact.
Let me finish. Did or did not Fury say after that second Wilder fight, I will never fight Wilder again? Yes or no?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just say sure.
Okay. Did he fight him again?
Obviously, he did. Next question.
All right. So we
Was he
supposed
trying to make another fight
him on
happen?
every word that a fighter says.
He had to be taken to arbitration to do the third fight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say.
So
Let me
did that
say
matter
this.
when they fought?
Let me say
Listen.
this. I'm not speaking about probability. I'm not giving you my opinion. He told the man, "I'm going to freeze you out for 3 years," and he didn't fight him for all that time. So I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm not making this up. He said it, and he did it. So
right, cool.
why is it that White is such an easy opponent for him? But he wanted to avoid him for 3 years.
I'm
Why?
taking notes.
So-
No, hold on, B. I'm taking notes. I just want to make sure I get this right. So, White versus Wilder. Forget about the science of it and how they're going to fight in the ring. He froze him out, right? And he sent him a text. Is that correct?
He sent him a video text. Yes,
A video
and
text. Okay.
I never said. Okay, go ahead and finish your question.
No. So I'm writing down the notes. I'm writing down the breakdown for White versus Wilder. So he froze him out for 2 years, right? And he sent him a video text saying he's going to freeze him out. And because this happened, that alone, right? That's your breakdown for Wilder versus White. That's why you believe White would beat Wilder.
No, that is not my reason. That is actually
why
your
does White
belief of
beat
what
Wilder?
I'm saying.
Why does White beat Wilder? Explain to us why.
Stylistically, please.
Why does he beat him?
Why?
Yeah.
Number one, he's a one-punch knockout guy. He's a very big puncher. But past that, White has a jab. He knows how to use it, and he would stay on his chest and work his body. You see all those punches that Fury landed on him tonight, and Fury landed on him in the second fight. If that was White, that fight would be over in the third round. He would land on his face like Brown did and like Derek did. He would be asleep on his face.
Okay, so let me just read the results of the poll we have in the chat right now. And the question I asked was, does Joshua get up and win if that was him knocked down in round 4? 75% of the people say no. 26% said yes.
Okay, so as far as if White landed those punches, right? That's an if. You haven't quite gotten to how he would land those punches, right? I could tell you how Fury landed them because he has a longer reach. He's bigger than Wilder, right? So you would you told us why you picked him in terms of if he landed that punch, but you have to explain how he would land it, because I know you're throwing out that he has a great jab. I don't think he has a great jab at all, actually.
I didn't say I never used the word great. I never used the word great, D-Style. Right? I said he has a good jab. And really, he's very awkward in his footwork. And his footwork is bad.
I think he's very hittable.
I also stated he would stay on his chest. Right?
Anyone who's that hittable,
I think it needs to be emphasized, though. I think it needs to be emphasized. I think it needs to be emphasized that Tyson Fury range and length severely bothers Wilder. Wilder has a very difficult time to set his feet. If Wilder is able to set his feet, he's extremely dangerous. 6'9", what is his reach? Like 85 or something like that?
Yeah.
For Fury?
Yeah.
And, it makes Wilder constantly reset and back up when you have long-range punches coming at you and you cannot out-jab the jabber. So can Dillian Whyte out-jab Wilder? That's my question.
Divine, not only
Wilder's
that,
Wilder's jab is not the greatest, but it's pretty damn good in my opinion.
White's. I think it's better than White's. I'm going to go on record as saying I'm going to say Wilder's jab is better than White's.
He fought didn't he fight a 7-foot guy or a guy that's close in height to Fury, who just fought tonight on the undercard? Helenius? Didn't he fight White?
Helenius is somehow close to Fury?
Helenius is 6'4".
Listen to me. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. You have to stop that. I understand what you're doing. What I'm giving you,
I'm going by your points.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. All I'm doing is giving you an example. I'm giving you an example. He has fought taller fighters before. He has fought tall fighters close in height to Fury here before.
He looked horrible.
He knows how to do that.
He looked horrible against Helenius, Dillian Whyte.
Did he lose? Did he lose?
Nope, he did not. He looked horrible.
Thank you. End of discussion.
He looked horrible. He looked horrible.
He looked horrible
against Chisora in the first fight. He looked horrible.
He lost. Actually, he won. He won. He lost and he won. 50,
you think 50. Dillian Whyte won the first fight against Chisora?
Actually, no, I don't.
Okay, all right.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I don't know. I would favor Wilder in that fight. Like, who do you think Vegas would have as the favorite?
Wilder would be favored.
Yeah, but you know what? Wilder would never fight him. Go through his history, then name me one puncher that he's fought. Wilder. He's never fought a puncher, ever. 16 years, he's never fought a puncher. Name me one.
All these guys can hurt each other. They're all punchers, guy. They're all punchers.
No, absolutely not. I said a puncher.
Yeah, they all can.
No.
So
supposedly Fury was a feather duster. He knocked him out twice.
Look, so let's do this, right?
He knocked out Chisora too.
Let's go over like all the punchers that have existed in the last 6 years, right?
How many punches do we have in the heavyweight division?
Why not? Because see, here's the thing, Troy. Like, you think I'm being sarcastic, but if you're going to make a claim, you have to back up the claim, right?
It's not a claim; it's a fact.
No,
it's a fact.
No,
and the fact is that if you could name the punches,
no, you can't just throw the word fact around.
You can't say unequivocally.
Name me the punches that he fought.
To show us what the punches that he does.
You can't say with 100% certainty who's a puncher and who's not a puncher. It's subjective.
Okay. Hold on.
Ratios, I guess.
Okay, hold on. Anytime you could leave men on their face unconscious for 2 to 3 minutes with one punch, you're a puncher. Now name me someone.
Fury did that yesterday to Wilder. He had him stiffened up and he went face first down on the canvas. But he's an
exhausted fighter after 11 rounds. White could do it in any round.
So name me the guys that he should have fought. Like, do you have some names for me?
I threw out 5 of them already.
Okay, the ones you named.
And I gave you 5 names. Okay, White.
Well, hold on, Troy, hold on. Like, let's be very clear. When I say something, it's not just random. That was a different question. That was, who do you think could beat him? Now I'm asking something different. Who are the punchers that he does? That's what I asked. It's 2 different questions.
Let's start from the top and work it down, okay? How about that?
All right.
Joshua, because he is the top. He had an opportunity to fight him more than once. White. He had the opportunity to fight him more than once. Derek is not so much a one knockout puncher, but he can damn well get you up out of there. So I'm going to throw him in as number 3. That's all the names I've got. And
Okay.
and there's also there's
here.
also a Klitschko. There's also Klitschko,
dying.
which he had an opportunity to fight and which he did not. Even as a champion, Shelly Finkel said he wasn't ready.
Can I chime in just for a second, please? Because with all due respect, I guess I am the only Wilder fan here. I just want to throw out a tail of the tape real quick, just for the audience. Dillian White is 6'4", 78-inch reach. Wilder is 6'7" with an 83-inch reach. So I just want to throw that out there. But I can't accept. You want to say Dillian White, and you want to say Joseph Parker, fine. I cannot accept Joshua, though. I refuse to accept Joshua because when Wilder knocked out Ortiz in the second fight, he called out Joshua post-fight. And he said, Joshua, I'm waiting for you. Don't duck the fight. And Joshua did not want that fight with Wilder, period. And if you don't believe me, watch the post-fight interview with Wilder after he knocked out Ortiz in the second fight. So that's all I want to say about that. I will not accept Wilder ducking Joshua.
I could only go on facts, sir. And the fact is that when you turn down 100 million, then 120 million, you don't want to fight anybody. And that's the facts to that conversation.
And so Ortiz ducked Joshua too, right?
He turned down 7 million. Hold on a second now. I'm going to make it clear to you. His own trainer was on the Boxing Voice years ago, and he cleared that up. He said that yes, they did offer him 7 million, but his manager or whatever decided that he didn't want it. He wanted him to fight Wilder. Ortiz didn't even know that, but his own manager knew that. His own people turned down that 7 million and told and they made up and they said on the Boxing Voice that they want him to fight Wilder instead. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Here's my question, right? So you feel as though Wilder avoided those fights, but Fury was going to avoid the Wilder fight, and he did not want to fight Wilder this third time. But when you put them both in the ring, did any of that matter when they went up against each other? Did that make Fury's skills any less than what they were because of him saying he did not want to fight Wilder the third time?
Well,
so that all this stuff that they say is irrelevant because you've heard the saying talk is cheap.
I don't believe
you keep going on say, and I keep giving you facts of why these things happen. You keep going on say,
but you're only telling one side of the story. How do you know why Wilder turned that $120 million deal down with DAZN? How do you know?
He told us because they wouldn't tell us how much Joshua was making.
And he also said that he'd rather be a free agent.
He's a free agent. He says
he is a free agent now.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
I don't know how anybody
in these two fights with Fury, has he made $120 million?
Who?
In these 3 fights with Fury.
Wilder.
Who cares?
He made.
So was he wrong for turning down the 120?
Of course he was wrong for turning down.
Why? He made it back with these 3 fucking Fury fights.
He didn't make 120 with these 3 fights.
He made it back with these 3 Fury fights.
He didn't make 120 with these 3 fights.
Where's the facts to back up your statement?
Where's the facts to back up your statement?
On Forbes.
On the biggest fight
he made more money than Joshua in 2020.
Listen, he did make 120 fighting Deontay Wilder 3 times. He made what? Somewhere like in between 5 and 10 for the first fight. He made 28.
But again, you're not counting the pay-per-view revenue.
How much did he make for the first fight?
Let's go on Forbes and see.
Okay.
He made 46 million last year.
He made 46 million last year.
That's last year.
I got a question for y'all.
How many fights did he have last year?
I have a question for y'all. You know, last night we had a big heavyweight fight.
He made 28.
Okay, hold on a second.
He made 28 million for the second fight, according to certain industry insiders. He made 28 million. He may make 28 million again for this fight, even though we're thinking it's going to be less than the second fight. but he made 28 million for the second fight. Let's say that he made 28 million for this fight. Let's say that, although it's not projected to have made as much as the second fight. Well, let's say 30. Let's round up to 30. 30 for the second fight. Let's say 30 for this fight. That's 60 million. And the first fight was much smaller. So let's say 15. So that's 30, 60, 75. 75 max for 3 fights. And he turned down 120 for the zone.
So are you arguing that he took the easy path towards Fury?
He made less money, man. He made less money. If everybody's saying he would have beat Joshua,
I'll be honest. I don't care about what these guys make. What I'm saying is,
I don't care either.
Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is this, right? I honestly don't think any fighter in their right mind would say, "Oh man, that white guy, I can't fight him. I'm gonna fight Fury instead because he's the easier touch." Like, because ain't nobody on this planet had the balls to say that they think White could beat Fury.
That's the accepted narrative, isn't it? That he took a
narrative.
cherry.
So do you think does White beat Fury? Go on record and pick up
Does White beat
Fury was just coming off the couch. Yeah.
Does White beat Fury? Yes or no? Does White beat Fury? Yes or no?
Does White? Well, how the hell do we know until they get in there?
Oh yeah. What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Does White beat Fury? What's your opinion?
My opinion is it's a great fight. It's very close.
Who wins?
It's a 50-50 fight.
That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
That's fucking ridiculous.
Sorry, he mowls White. White's easy work. Easy work for
Ralph.
Stop it, Ralph. You're ridiculous. Ralph, you're ridiculous. Ralph, you're ridiculous.
Ralph, can I ask, please?
You're ridiculous, Ralph. Stop it.
Ralph, do you think? So you think? Just I want to make the record straight. You do think that Joshua will beat Wilder, right?
Yes. Totally.
So Joshua will beat Wilder, and I'm guessing you purely off boxing skill.
Yeah, he's a better boxer. Yeah.
Okay. So Joshua beats Wilder, but you're not ready to say an opinion about White and Fury.
White and Fury. That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight. But White. I believe White can knock out Fury.
Anybody can knock anybody out, Ralph.
Okay, so let me put it better.
Let's stop it. I think I can. I
believe there is a very decent prospect of
like
White.
50% shot.
Sorry?
Like a 50% shot? Because you said it was 50-50.
Okay, well, let's lower that down to 45-55. I think it's a 45-55 fight in favor of Fury.
Okay.
So Fury wins then?
No. But I still see a high probability.
So you favor Fury to win the fight? You just said it.
Fury would be the favorite, but I still
You favor Fury. You just said it.
Fury would be the favorite.
You favor Fury. You just said it, Ralph.
I just said.
Okay, so let's do an experiment here.
Fury would be the favorite.
Let me ask you, Ralph.
According to you, you favor Fury to win the
fight. AJ versus Wilder. Who wins? Ralph.
AJ versus Wilder.
Who would win that fight?
AJ, the better boxer, beats Wilder.
So now, I don't know. Now you gave us a direct answer. Why can't you give us a direct answer about Fury?
Answer about Fury and White.
Fury would be the favorite, but
who do you think would win the fight? I put a gun to your head.
Fury would be the favorite to win the fight.
Who wins if I put a gun to your head? You have to say one or the other.
Fury winning the fight because
he wins the fight.
55% Fury.
Who wins?
I just told you, 55% Fury. That
means
Fury
wins. That's all we want to hear.
You're picking Fury to win.
I have Fury by 5% more than Dillian White.
So you're picking Fury to win. So what percentage do you have?
He would be the bloody favorite.
What percentage do you have Joshua over Wilder?
60-40.
So the body snatcher has a 63% kill ratio. He's going to be fighting Otto Wallin. We're going to see how that one goes. Shout out to Mr. Boxing today, too, who reminded us about that.
Wallin's going to beat him.
But he went 50-50, got knocked out, and he knocked out an old Povetkin. Let me just go ahead and add that, okay? Povetkin that couldn't even, hurt freaking Hunter, okay? But he was able to knock out this dude, okay? He went the distance with Rock, and he looked horrible, by the way. He went the distance with Rivas.
Beautiful uppercut.
He went a distance with Rivas with gloves that they did not allow Russ Samner to inspect. Okay? that he tested positive for a banned substance for, and he couldn't take out Rivas. So I'm trying to understand where
He
this idea
did not test positive for anything.
Well, I mean, wasn't there something that he failed a test, didn't he, about something, right?
Let me just read the result.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Let me just read the result of this poll. Let me just read the result of this poll real quick in the chat.
Okay.
93% of the chat thinks that Fury would beat White, and I think the general public would agree.
Yeah, that's cool, but that doesn't mean that would go down that way, though. That's cool.
The odds makers would have it that way.
I said he'd be
95% thought.
Ralph, who do you got? Who do you got with Fury Joshua?
Fury Joshua. In general, on last night's performance. On last night's performance, I have Joshua in general. In general, though.
Stop hedging, brother. That's a hedge.
In general, though, he's up, B. I'm trying to mute him. In general, he's up, B. In general, that is
some fanboy shit if I ever saw it.
What's fanboy shit?
That's fanboy shit, right?
What is?
You don't believe that?
I don't believe what?
That you want Joshua to beat Fury. You don't believe that?
I don't even think I answered that question. On last night's performance with the overweight Fury. And an overweight.
Fury is a fat fuck. He's never going to change that. So there's no such thing. He's a fat fuck.
I think Joshua beats both of them on last night's performance. However, a peak Fury.
That Joshua that got thoroughly beaten by Usyk would beat that version of Joshua who was parring with the jab, who gassed out in that fight, and who almost got knocked out. Who almost got knocked out in the 12th round by a 220-pound smaller man, right? That version of Joshua would beat Fury.
That's not
Come
like.
On. Joshua did. Fury looked 10 times better than Joshua last night than in that fight than Joshua looked against Usyk. Come on, bro. It's not even.
He's a southpaw. That's not like for like. He was dealing with something.
Oh, now he's a southpaw. Cut it out, bro.
Can you show the screen, please?
It's a 50-50. For me, Fury versus Joshua is a 50-50 fight.
So look. Dillian White tested negative for a banned substance just before and after his fight with Rivas, right? But it does say, all right,
no,
the test. Hold on, okay, that he had on July 21st, 27 and 21st, they came back negative by test that he did with VADA. It says it right there. You don't see it right there?
He passed VADA twice. So I don't know what they're
test by White by the voluntary by VADA on July 17th and 21st came back negative. VADA also tested.
It wasn't for VADA.
Those were clean as well.
It was for some local.
All I'm saying is
it was for some local company in England.
UCAT is a local company.
This is DAZN.com who put on the fight. I will read it one more time for you. Test on White by Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, that's VADA, on July 17th and onto the 21st, came back negative. VADA also tested Rivas on those days, and the test came back clean.
Which means he passed.
Right? So, I'm just saying, like he tested positive for test, yes or no?
You just read it where he came back negative. So the answer would be he came back negative.
Other tests came back negative.
Okay, ultimately,
what other test, man?
Ultimately, it was adjudged that those the samples were tainted by the laboratory.
I know, I get all that, but he did fail some tests, and then yes, the explanation was that there was some contamination or whatever. Like Canelo tested positive, right?
He did not fail a test. Ultimately, it was adjudged that the samples were contaminated in the laboratory. So he did not fail any test.
I understand what the judge said, brother.
He did not fail the test. And he
didn't fail any test.
So I'm saying that you asked me the questions and I answered the questions. I think that Joshua versus Fury is Joshua to beat Fury and Wilder last night. Normally with Fury in better condition, not overweight, in better condition, then that is
Joshua gassed out. Joshua gassed out in the Usyk fight. Fury never gassed out in his fight.
Styles makes fights. You can't say because a guy,
Joshua has gassed out. Joshua gassed out in so many fights, and you don't question
Ruiz
his
as well.
What about Randy Ruiz? The Ruiz fight? He
I
gassed
know.
out in the fight. He was gassing out in the Dillian White fight before he knocked him out. He was gassing out in the Klitschko fight before he knocked him out.
Does that mean that he can't beat Fury?
Yes. I
Oh.
don't see it. I think it's
really?
close. I think it's close to impossible that he beats Fury.
Close to impossible.
In my
That-
opinion,
impossible.
yes.
Nothing's impossible.
That's crazy.
In
man.
my opinion, I think it's
That's
close
crazy.
to impossible.
Now
I
that-
give
now
him
that's
I
fine.
give him probably a 5% chance to beat Fury, in my opinion.
No, that's fanboy shit. Come on.
No, that's just facts.
That's
Okay, so really quick, I
That's my
reread it.
opinion.
It's
That's
not
my
fact if you
opinion.
can't prove
You
it.
said it was fact.
That's my opinion.
It's your opinion.
That's
It's not
my
fact.
opinion.
said it was
My
fact.
I mean,
opinion.
I feel
My
strongly
opinion.
now that Fury would
My
win,
opinion.
for sure. You know what I mean?
You feel how?
Yeah, I got Fury
break
as
it
well
down.
over
Break it
Joshua.
down. Break it down, these styles. How does Fury win?
Because
How does
Joshua
Fury
can't
win?
fight a lick on the
Yeah,
inside.
how does Fury
Joshua's
win?
even
But what-
worse than Joshua's just as bad as Deontay Wilder is on the inside.
Hold on.
He's a
Well,
horrible
that
inside
is true.
fighter. He's a horrible inside fighter.
So really quick, it was actually UCAD, just really quick, okay? That was also conducting testing for the fight, detected the steroid Dianabol in White in a test taken June 17th, okay? So it was not VADA, but it was
Not fail
UCAD,
any
okay?
test.
UCAD did not inform VADA of its results prior to the fight, all right? So yes, by a technicality, he was let off, but UCAD did catch him with that banned substance, all right? Whether they threw it out or not is irrelevant. UCAD did.
And nowhere in your statement did it say that he failed the test.
I can show you the screenshot about UCAD.
It's pointless because he was adjudged. You have to look at the result. It was adjudged that the
And you
the
can show me
samples
anything you want, but the fact is that Wilder and Fury fought last night. So why the hell are we talking about White's failed test?
That's
No.
crazy.
What you talking about happened years ago.
Crazy
No,
to me.
that's cool if it happened years ago. But I am just saying the United Kingdom's UCAD was also conducting testing. Yes or no? Were they doing testing for that fight?
Did they or did they not?
The answer is yes, right?
Okay.
They detected a steroid, Dianabol, in White's, okay, in the test that he took on June 17th.
Okay.
UCAD did not inform VADA of its results prior to the fight, okay? So nothing was said, and the fight went on anyway, all right?
And then he was found innocent.
This was something that was reported by Dan Raphael,
And then he
okay?
was found innocent, though, yeah?
Let me just interrupt with the poll results. I'm going to end the
It
poll.
doesn't matter what a
because-
judge said. Like, he
No,
failed
No,
the test for UCAD.
The laboratory, it was found that the samples were contaminated in the laboratory. That is the finding.
Okay,
So Ralph,
that's
so
fine,
Ralph, let
but
me
it's
let me
still
ask you a
positive.
quick let me ask you a quick question, Ralph.
Yeah.
Did Oscar Valdez fail a PED test?
Yes, he did.
The commission said he didn't, and so did WADA.
VADA said he did.
VADA is just a reporting agency. They're not a decision-making body.
According to
Did
VADA,
Canelo fail a PD test?
Why are they a part of
Yes.
boxing then?
yes.
They're not a part of
Canelo-
Why are
boxing.
they a part of
did Canelo
boxing?
fail a
They're not a
PD
part
Yes,
of
they
boxing.
are.
They're part of the
Yes, he did, and he got
They're
banned.
not part of the
WBC.
They're not part of the
WBC, yes,
WBA.
they are.
They're not part of the
Did
WBA. and the
Canelo
IBF,
fail a
and the WBO.
PD test?
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. You said they weren't a part of boxing. I said
They're
the
not. They're-
WBC.
Really
You said
quick.
no.
No, really
They're a
quick.
testing agency. They're hired.
Did Canelo
hired
fail
by
a
the
PD
WBC.
test?
Yes, he did. He fell for clenbuterol and he got banned for
Why is
6
this
weeks.
conversation?
Well, no,
Why is
really
this
quick.
conversation? You know,
The WBC.
no,
right?
I'm just saying this conversation you know, is
Said
very
that-
convoluted because
No.
Didn't
I
we
just
have a
want to
big
clarify
heavyweight fight
that just
yesterday and the
because an agency
why are we
says,
discussing this foolishness?
hold on, just because, like
I guess
someone can
because you
test
said
positive
I
for
guess because
something,
you brought it up when you said Dillian White never failed a PED test.
just because someone says, just
No, I
because
never said he
WBC
never failed
right,
a PD
Mauricio
test. I
Suleiman.
said he didn't fail that
Just
test.
because, hold on. Just because Mauricio Suleiman said that, like, oh, we did an investigation and we saw that there was some contaminations in Mexico, so this redeems Canelo for not cheating, right? Like they redeemed them of it, right? Or whatever the term, there's a technical term for it, right? And PD testing. All I'm saying is, right? I understand, Ralph, that later they determined that it was a contamination, right? And maybe that's true, but he did fail a test. I understand that later they said, oh, that's because there was a contamination, but he failed the test per UCAD.
Yes,
I was
Joshua
wrong when I said
and
Vada.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
admit that.
No,
But it was from you, Cat.
Right.
It wasn't a failed.
Okay, right.
Ultimately, it was ruled to be contamination. So
Okay, so he tested
Was
positive
the
for a
substance-
steroid.
Was the substance in his system? Yes or no?
Like, come on.
no, it wasn't in his system. It was contaminated. It was
That's
ruled
false.
to be
That's
contaminated.
false.
It was
That's
ruled to be
false.
contamination.
Okay,
in the body.
it can't be contaminated. Like if I go to the hospital because I have toxins in my body, right? I accidentally drank a toxin, right? And then I say, I don't know, I didn't get the Clorox and drink it. Oh, you know what? It must have been maybe it fell in the water that you drank. Well, it's still in my system. You know what I mean?
No. It was ruled to be contamination in the laboratory. Those specific words.
Okay, well,
We'll move
that's
on.
strange.
We'll move on from
But
that
okay.
because
We should move
it is
on.
what it is.
We should.
But let me read the poll. 92% of the people think Fury would beat White. So White has an 8% chance, according to 50 people that voted in this poll. Real quick,
You know,
we have 79 people watching. We have 79 people watching right now. I would encourage everyone to hit the like button as well as vote in this poll.
Oh man,
because I'm gonna do another poll.
But do you know the beauty about that? The beauty about that is that Dillian White is Tyson Fury's mandatory. So we're gonna find out.
Yep, we will.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. We go.
Imagine if White and Joshua lose in the same 6 month span. You're going to be on suicide watch, Ralph. You're going to be on suicide watch, Ralph.
Damn.
Imagine if Joshua and White win in the same 6 month period. Imagine that, B.
That would be a great dream.
Hey,
that would be a great dream.
Hey,
when
B,
you wake up, maybe that won't be the case. But when you're sleeping, it probably will.
B, how about you just suspend your disbelief and we wait till the fights actually happen? How about that?
No, I'd rather.
But you don't do that for AJ Wilder, though.
I'd rather keep giving you stick about it. It's more
it's like this. When you say AJ Wilder, I mean, you said that you think AJ wins, right?
Yeah, quick time.
You talking to me?
Quick time.
Quick time, yeah.
Like for AJ Wilder, you didn't say, "Oh, let's wait, let's see what happens."
AJ Wilder, I believe that Joshua, the better boxer, wins. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Did Joshua show good boxing
Hey, can I ask a question,
Usyk?
Ralph?
Yes,
Who has a better chin, Fury or Joshua? Who has a better chin?
Why is there even a pause?
That's a damn good question. So
Both of them are equal.
No,
Both
hold
of
on.
them are equal.
My question to you, Divineness, is my question to you on that is who between AJ and Fury have fought the heaviest hitters?
Fury.
Don't be ridiculous, babe.
Fought Wilder,
Fury.
bro. Come on.
Fought Wilder.
The heaviest hitters, not the heaviest hitter.
Wilder has the highest knockout ratio in boxing right now.
Let me ask the question again. Divineness.
Against who? Against who?
Who between AJ and Fury has fought the heaviest?
So, how about this, Ralph?
Everyone in the chat is saying Fury.
Okay, Ralph. So they both fought.
I'm pretty sure that
everyone's saying Fury.
Hold on, let me just say this, Ralph. So let's just go by common opponent, Vladimir Klitschko. Right now, even though he fought the older version of Klitschko and an active version of Klitschko, right? Who's the only one that got knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko?
He has to think.
Can I jump in here and say something, please?
Right?
Can I jump in here and say something, please? No. You okay? Can I jump in here?
Joshua
go ahead,
dropped by.
Well, I was asked a question.
But I would ask Divineness the question: who between Anthony Joshua and Fury has fought the heaviest hitters?
Fury.
Divineness.
Divine Sense.
Divine Sense.
Yeah. So for me, Fury fighting Klitschko and Wilder 3 times, and I understand Wilder's one person. I get that. But for me, my personal opinion may sound a bit silly, but Wilder equals two heavy hitters that Joshua's faced.
Okay.
In my opinion,
he equals one person.
That don't make no sense. There's only one person.
No, it does make sense because he fought him 3 fucking times, bro.
Hitters, plural, people, not person.
Doesn't matter people. It matters fights. Fights are what takes years off your career. You fight a killer like Wilder 3 times.
Okay.
That's more dangerous than fighting 3 fucking than fighting
How are
Dillian
you-
White and Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
How are
okay,
you
so
a killer when you haven't beat any of the
I'm
top
gonna-
heavyweights of your era? How are
Yeah.
you a killer? Haven't
How are
beat
you-
any of the top heavyweights of your era.
Well, he's beaten two.
Who are the
He's
top
beaten two.
heavyweights of this
He's beaten
era?
two. He's
Name
beaten
me the top heavyweights of
He
this
beat,
era.
he beat Vladimir Klitschko 6 years ago, and he's beat
Vladimir Klitschko's not even in their era.
six exactly. So I said
He's
6
not
years
even
ago.
in their era.
I said 6 years ago. So he beat Vladimir Klitschko 6 years ago. Fair enough, and he's beaten Deontay.
He was in the
Wilder.
ring with him. He's in his era.
And he's well. Let's not try and make it convoluted. Let's just play the game. Okay. So I'll answer the question that you guys don't want to answer. Okay. Dillian White, the heaviest hitter. Dillian White. He beat Dillian White, knocked him out. He beat Vladimir Klitschko. We're talking about Joshua, knocked him out. He beat, who else did he knock out? Did he knock out Povetkin? He beat Povetkin, knocked him out. Who else? Yeah, okay. So that's 3 strong names. Dillian White, Vladimir Klitschko, and Alexander Povetkin. Those guys are renowned heavy hitters, and he knocked them out. And then he
More than Wilder, though? They're more
Hold on.
dangerous than
He
Wilder?
beat- and then he beat Andy Ruiz, who is a recognized heavy hitter also. So that's 4. Tyson Fury has beat, who did he beat? Heavy hitters, renowned heavy hitters. Deontay Wilder, yes. Vladimir Klitschko, yes. Who's the next? We need 2 more. We need 2 more heavy hitters for Fury. Over to you guys.
I think Derek,
I just don't-
I think Derek Chisora is a heavy hitter. I think he's a big puncher.
At the time, he was. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a more prime version.
Let's look at Alexander Povetkin's KO ratio. It's 62%, right?
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, 62%. Respectable, right?
Respectable.
Let's
Yeah,
look
but
at
Alexander Povetkin couldn't knock out Huck, a cruiserweight.
Let's
He
look
couldn't
at
knock out another cruiserweight.
let's look at Dillian White's KO percentage.
So Joshua's
Hold
chin-
on.
While you're finding that, I'm just saying this. While you're finding
Hold on.
that, so
Now,
Josh,
Dillian White's KO percentage is 63%, right?
Mhm.
So let's look at Derek Chisora's KO. Let's look at Luis Ortiz Luis Ortiz, and let's look at
good idea, Luis Ortiz. Go, Luis Ortiz.
let's look at Luis Ortiz's KO percentage.
Really quick, while you look at that, so look, all these guys are big mammoths. and
Luis
they can
Ortiz
punch.
has a 75% KO ratio. And
Against-
so
Would
he
we
has a
agree
heavy,
that's low-level
he's
competition? Would we agree?
he's knocked out more fighters than Dillian White and Povetkin have.
Do we agree
So,
that Luis
Right.
Ortiz, of all the guys we fought, have probably fought the lowest opposition, the lowest ranked opposition?
an argument could be made for that. That's a fair point.
Okay.
But
But
again,
no, but I would say that nobody wants to fight him either.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I keep hearing that, and I have yet to hear them name all the fighters that avoided him, and I've yet to hear them name all the fighters that they sent all these contracts out to that were never signed.
Divine
So I don't
sense.
know who's avoiding
can
him.
I just
Divine
make? Can I
sense.
just? Can I
I
just
I
make?
just wanted to add something
Can I
really
just say this
quickly.
real quick? Let me say this real quick. Divine
All right.
sense. You made a point. Nobody wants to fight him, but then we have to flip it, and we have to come out with a list of people who said they've sent contracts to him and he declined. Let's do that real quick. Let me do that real quick. Joe Joyce said that. Dillian White said that. Anthony Joshua, we know for a fact, did that. So there's those are 3 that just come immediately to mind. 3 people who
but
sent
again-
contracts.
Okay, I'm not
But
I'm not
again,
disputing that,
doesn't
but my
mean
question would be
anything. That doesn't mean
But my-
anything once they all get in the ring and fight. That's not
But-
something they can bring into.
yes.
That's
And
not
also my
something-
question-
That's not
It
something a
means
fighter
something
can bring in. Wait a minute.
undeniable.
Wait a minute. That's not something a fighter can bring into the ring and help him win against an opponent. Fair-
Why'd you bring it up then?
It's experience.
I'm not
right?
bringing it up.
Divine
But hey, I need to get to something
I
quick.
brought it up. Not
I
me.
brought it up.
Well, hold up.
But I guess my question is why? Okay, why if these contracts are being sent out and Ortiz is not fighting them? Obviously my natural question is why? Why? So he's avoiding all these people just to get Wilder?
He's
Just because he wants Wilder?
No. PBC, I believe. I'll
Andy
give you my
Ruiz,
opinion.
both
I'll
Andy
give you my
Ruiz-
opinion.
both
PBC
Andy
won't let him
Ruiz
fight
and-
them guys.
Check this
PBC
out.
won't let him fight them guys.
Hold on,
Because they only-
I have a lot I need to say, and some of it was said there by Mr. Boxing today too. But when it comes to Ortiz specifically, because I always hear, who do you beat? Who do you fight? He did fight Brian Jennings, a guy that went the distance and gave Klitschko a really good fight, by the way. And okay, some people beat Joe Joyce. Okay,
Can I just
So,
say one thing? Can I
dominated
just say one
him.
thing? Can I just say one
Perspective.
thing?
Who dominated you?
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one
Ortiz
thing?
to Jennings.
Can I just say one thing? On any given night, can any of these guys knock
Of course.
any one of these guys out? All these guys are dangerous because they're heavyweights. They all
But
can
here's the
punch.
thing, Beep.
None
I
of-
need to
none
get
of
to
these
this point.
guys. None of these guys are Chris Bird. With all,
I
due
need to
respect.
get to this point, Beep, like really quick.
I'm
So
sorry,
I
I'm
heard
sorry.
that a heavy, dangerous puncher is Povetkin. Now, Povetkin's a heavyweight, like Beep just said. They're all dangerous, okay?
Yeah.
Marco Huck, who was stopped by Steve Cunningham, was not stopped by Povetkin, okay? So like we got to look at that, all right?
One example.
Michael Hunter was not stopped by Povetkin. Right now, Michael Hunter's a good fighter, though. So it is what it is. I'm not saying he's bad for, but Fury wasn't stopped by Povetkin. Okay,
That's
Who
I
stopped
mean
Michael Hunter?
Christian Hammer was not stopped by Povetkin. Right?
Who's ever
This
stopped Michael Hunter
Rundenko.
before?
Hold on, I'm going to go over the list because I was told that this guy's a devastating puncher. Right?
We
I'm
can
looking
go
at
over
fight
the
after fight. Morris Watch was not stopped by Michael Hunter. I'm sorry, by Povetkin. So I'm not going to give you Povetkin as a big heavy hitter. I'm not going to give him to you.
We've already agreed he's a heavy hitter, though.
All right. No, I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
My stance on it is these guys are heavyweights. Any one of these guys could hurt the other.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
I
I'm not
agree.
going to get in the battle of who can do what and what. It's all about styles. It's all about who does what on the night.
Let me ask
And,
you
and
this.
it's all about being able to deliver that power.
Let me ask you this.
It's like this.
Anyway,
Did it
But I do agree
matter?
with-
Like, did it matter? Like
I
when
agree
people
with G
said,
Funky
right?
in the chat.
Look, when people said, look, Joshua has more experience at heavyweight. He's fought these guys at heavyweight. And you could do the same thing. You could say, who are the heavy hitters Usyk fought and the ones that Joshua fought, right? But when it came down to the fight, it didn't matter. It came down to the skill and how they performed that night,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
I agree with
So
that.
we can't just do that. Like, even if I give you this, Rob, because I'll give you this 100%. AJ has a great resume at heavyweight. I'll never take that away from him because he does.
He's
right?
got a great resume. at
I
heavyweight.
can't take away his accomplishments, right?
He's got a better resume.
So-
He's got a better resume than Fury and Wilder.
I don't think he has a better resume than Fury
No, I'm
because
putting- I
Fury.
ask the question.
Because
It's a question.
Fury. Well, that's your. No, no, and
I feel it's debatable.
I respect your opinion. I respect your.
Like I think it's debatable, and I actually slightly agree with Ralph a little bit about the
Yeah,
resume.
resume wise, I agree with Ralph. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
resume-wise.
I do agree with that, right? Like I have to be honest, Beeb. I think Fury hurt himself by this, like his binge, and I know he came back from it, but he took himself out of the game for 2-3
He
years.
lost too many years
That's
of
his
his
fault.
prime.
That's his fault,
He did.
and he
He lost
just
too many-
and not for nothing, Beeb. This last night.
I'll concede that point. I'll concede that.
What did he do? What was it? Was his, he popped the cherry last night? What did he do last night?
his first title defense.
His
That's
first
it.
title
His
defense,
first title
and that's-
defense.
and will you all agree that's a disgrace?
Why do we have to insult people?
Oh man!
I would say
You know,
it's
I would
unfortunate.
say- Come on.
I would say
I will say it's
it's-
very unfortunate.
Is it?
It's
Would
very
you agree it's a
unfortunate. Thank
disgrace,
you.
sir? I'm
Unfortunate.
respectfully asking you, sir.
I
I'm
agree
saying,
with
sir,
Ralph.
Will you agree that it's a disgrace, sir?
I would say it's very no. I would say it's very unfortunate.
He should have had a defense by now. Like there's, I agree 100%. That's why I gotta give you the resume all day, right?
Ralph,
And I also give you that we really don't know who wins until they fight. I'll give you that as well.
Respect.
But I would favor Fury in a fight with AJ if I'm honest.
Respect.
let's read.
Respect.
Let's read the poll results. 84% say Fury would beat Joshua. It's 83 to 17% right now.
And will you concede that means nothing?
Hey, come on, it's the voice of the
means-
people.
means
You
every-
concede
it means-
that
It's
means
a-
sweet.
it's an
It means
opinion by a
everything.
majority.
It means everything.
concede
You know
that
why?
means sweet.
It means
F.A.
everything. It means everything. You know
Opinion by majority.
Because it supports my
Which
point.
equals nothing.
Anything that supports
Nothing.
my point means a lot.
Which equals nothing, as I
I
stated.
love you, babe. I love
I mean,
you.
you're searching for some confirmation there, Joe. Like some confirmation bias.
Biggest
But-
confirmation bias grab that I've ever had in my life.
Yo, D style. Who's your number 2 guy at heavyweight right now?
Who's
Hey,
six?
let's get the top 4. Let's get everybody's top 4. Let's do it.
This is my top 4 right now. As of right now, I would
Yeah.
say
Based
Fury
off
number
last night.
1, right? Fury number 2, Fury number 3. I'm just playing. No, I'm gonna go Fury 1, Usyk 2. AJ 3, Wilder 4. If I'm honest.
Big, please. Come with it, brother.
Honestly, I'm gonna go Fury.
Yeah.
Usyk.
Mm.
And you know what?
Don't do it, babe.
You know what? I do think Wilder.
Don't lead in the witness there.
Let me finish. I do think Wilder would beat Joshua, but based off of Joshua's resume, I have to put him ahead of Wilder. So I'll put Joshua at number 3. See, I'm not biased like you.
You're biased. You're well biased.
But I'm objective. I'm objective. But I'm objective. But I'm objective. But I'm objective. But I'm objective. You're not. Okay. So Fury, Joshua.
Yeah,
excuse me, Fury, Usyk, Joshua, and then Wilder number 4. So Wilder is in the top 5. So that makes him elite in my opinion.
Let's get Troy's top 5.
Divine Ness.
Oh, sorry.
Divine Ness.
Regretfully, I have to agree with Joe. I got Fury, Usyk, AJ, Wilder, and that hurts. I'm a Wilder fan.
Troy Graham.
I'm going to put Usyk first for right now because he did beat Joshua. Then I'm going to put Joshua. Then I'm going to put Fury because he's undefeated champion. Yeah. Then I'm going to put White.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You know what, Troy? We're gonna respect that opinion because these are just everyone. This is just opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never disagreed with anything more in my life, but I'm just gonna respect your opinion.
So me, number one, I've got Usyk.
These guys are killing me. They hate Fury so much.
Number 2,
they hate him so much. What did he do? He must
no. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that because Usyk's only got one win recently in heavyweight. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go Fury because
we don't like the same type of women.
I got Fury, number 1, number 2, Usyk, number 3, Joshua, and number 4, Dillian White, who has more respectable wins at heavyweight than Deontay Wilder. He's got a better resume. Dillian White's got a better resume at heavyweight better resume than Dillian White. He does.
Ralph, can you repeat that one more time? My headphones glitched out for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
No, I think he said Fury, but he said it under his breath.
No. I'm saying it clearly. I did say Usyk first, but I don't go with that because Fury's got more wins at heavyweight, championship wins. So Fury, Alexander Usyk number 2, Anthony Joshua number 3, and Dillian White number 4. Deontay Wilder hasn't won a heavyweight fight in about 2 years or so? Over 2 years? Dillian White's over him.
So is Povetkin like 5 and Ruiz 6 or what?
No. I'd bring
because if Povetkin knocked out the 4th best in the planet, he's got to be like 5 or 6, right?
No, come on. You know full well he's retired. You know Dillian White's retired. So it's number one, to be clear, number 1, Tyson Fury. Number 2, Alexander Usyk. Number 3, Anthony Joshua. Number 4, Dillian White. And number 5, Deontay Wilder, who has not won a heavyweight fight in over 2 years, I believe.
There's somebody that said there was a pandemic, Ralph. Like
okay, I accept that. But that doesn't change.
I'm sick of hearing that excuse.
Okay.
What's good?
That doesn't change that reality. Coach Malachi in the building.
Hey, what's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? What's good, brothers?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? I saw you doing what Deontay Wilder refused to do the other day.
What's that?
I saw you doing some squats, brother.
Oh yeah, squats. Leg lunges. I do duck walks. Yeah, listen, bro. I'm not going to take a dump on Wilder's skill. Listen, bro. He put on a good fight last night. He earned my respect. I'm not gonna lie. That dude is a warrior. I'm disappointed in his bad sportsmanship. It just proves what a lot of people have been saying, like D-Style and.
Are you surprised at it, or are you just disappointed?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
That's a fair point.
I'm disappointed. You lied on this guy. You called this guy every name under the book, and then you created this cult-like following. You created a level of toxicity in the YTB where people like D-Style, Habib, and everybody was called racist and me like coons and stuff like that.
I had to get added, Coach. I had to get added security because of all these threats I was getting.
Hey, I'm like, man, I'm like, bro, like this because we had an opinion, and we're like, listen, we love Wilder's a good fighter, but when I look at his resume, I say this dude fought a bunch of C-class and D-class fighters.
Let's tell the truth. Let's be honest about it.
This is no hate. This is like, dude, like when you look, bro, I'm reading this book. Hey, D-Style, y'all buy this book. The Life and Crimes of Don King. The Life and Crimes.
I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that.
Listen, buy that book. It tells you everything about how Don King used to set fights up and other promoters like Barbarian. They pad these guys' records. Yeah, he had 40-some wins, 40-some knockouts. But who did he knock out? That's important. It's so when you look at that, bottom line, Tyson Fury is a world-class fighter. He's number one. I got Usyk number two. But his fans, those delusional channels, they're not getting off the hook with me. I know. I'm telling you guys, they're not getting off the hook. I'm going in. I have to do what I gotta do. Ain't no peace with me right now. Not right now. I'm gonna give all this.
There's no
Right
peace.
for the jugular.
There's no peace.
There's no peace right now.
Right for the jugular, right, Coach? Right for the jugular.
They don't get to just move on, right?
No. D-Style, they won't let you move on. Habib, they won't let you move on. They will be at your necks right now.
I had to get therapy. I had to get therapy. They were killing me.
Man, listen, man. Listen. I'm a Capricorn, dog. Listen, I'm like this. But when they go low, I'm digging the ditch. I didn't know you got to take the high road, man. I don't know what the high road look like. I'm taking the low road. I'm 5'6". I'm taking the low road. So no. I'm not doing that right now. Not right now. I need about 3 days, and then I'm gonna offer. I'm gonna send out an olive branch. See if you guys had enough. If they ain't had enough, we can do this the rest of the year. Don't make me know. Never mind. But it was a good fight, guys. It was a good fight. It's one of the best fights I've seen. Bro, that was a hell of a fight. But listen, D-Style, Habib, I have the receipts. I'm gonna show it. I picked Wilder. I picked Fury to stop Wilder in the 10th round.
Oh, 10? Oh, wow.
I picked the 10th. I was off by 1 round, D-Style.
I picked 7.
I was off.
I picked 7.
Because this is what I said. I said that Wilder's going to do everything Malik Scott told him to do. But what's going to happen is if it doesn't work, fatigue is going to set in. And when he gets tired, I had more faith than Fury digging deep and getting Wilder out of there. And I had more faith in Sugar Hill versus Malik Scott. And I had the receipt when I said it, and I'm going to show it today. That's what happened, guys. And I didn't know. But damn, he knocked him out cold, bro, in the 11th. That's damn.
Yo, what did you think about that 10th round? You said you had it originally 10th round, and then he knocked down Wilder, and then Wilder the last 15 seconds started a little flurry and actually hurt Fury.
Yes, he did. Yeah, yes, he did. But let me tell you something, man. Irregardless of what, man, Wilder, that dude a warrior, dog. He's a warrior. I'm not gonna take that away from him. I can't take that. He showed hard in there last night. He showed hard last night.
I think we established that from the second fight, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
From the second fight, we established that he had the heart of a lion, but the legs of a baby deer.
Hey, Ralph, really quick. Would you accept Stavern as a puncher, as a heavy hitter?
Listen. Stavern was a Ring Magazine top 10 fighter at the time he fought Deontay Wilder the first time.
Okay.
So he was a Ring Magazine top 10. Factual. So we have to give him that.
All I'm saying, bro, because he knocked out Chris Arreola, and not even Ruiz could knock out an old Arreola, right?
Stavern has a 68% knockout percentage, 68%.
That's a heavy hitter right there.
Higher than Povetkin.
Stavern was a legitimate top 10 opponent when Deontay Wilder fought him. He was in the top 10 Ring Magazine top 10.
He was a champion.
Okay.
Well,
that's fair. That's fair.
So I ain't knocking Stavern. You must have some kind of strange perception.
No. I'm not saying you're knocking him. I just thought about him because you had asked a question about the heavy hitter.
He was legit. He was a legit top 10. I'm not knocking Stavern. There might be a perception that I'm not Wilder does, but that's not true. That's not
top 8. I'll give you top 8.
Huh?
Like top 8. Top 8. No.
Stubborn was top 10. Ring Magazine top 10.
You don't want to give him 2 more. Like top 8.
I don't know. I just know that we did the research on one of my shows, and he was a top 10 guy. I don't know what number he was. I think he sneaked in the top in 10 or 9. That's my recollection. Yes.
Ralphie, buy this book. This book tells you how to Ring Magazine, how Don King used to work the Ring Magazine. If sanctioned bodies pay money to Ring Magazine and stuff like that to get their fighters moved up and down the ranks, they could take a fighter who hasn't fought in 3 years and all of a sudden get them put in the top 10. This is receipts. This is receipts. This is documentation, interviews from Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali, Tim Witherspoon, all the people who might have sued Don King, people from ESPN, Bob Arum. This is like receipts. Just get that book. I'm telling you, bro. So when you tell me he was in the top 10 or Ring Magazine, that don't mean shit.
But understand why I say
I can get Habib in the top 10 right now if I got enough money.
Understand why I said though.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Ring Magazine is just generally accepted. That's the measure. That's the standard. Are they corrupted? Yes, they are.
Right.
But it's just like we all using inches rather than meters. We just using the same measuring stick, so to speak.
Can I ask a question for the entire panel? I'm just curious about something.
Run it, brother.
What was your guys' initial thoughts of the first round?
The first round was the
very first round. What did you think?
The first round was that Deontay Wilder was doing something that he was going to burn him out real quick. Real quick. He's not that high output guy, but he's going to the body time after time after time after time after time, power punch after power punch after power punch. You know what's going to happen. It ain't going to last. It ain't going to last long.
Can I be honest with you, Habib?
Go ahead.
I think, to me, I'm going to be honest with you. I saw something in Wilder that I saw in Anthony Joshua. Like, Anthony Joshua, my favorite heavyweight, right? But I had to admit that Joshua was not the guy I thought he was. I'm just being honest with you. He's
Ralph
a good.
That Ralph's gonna cry.
He's a good fighter. And this guy was my favorite heavyweight. But Joshua's not the guy that I thought he was from a. He got that dog in him standpoint. That's not him. That's not him. That's not him.
Last 3
he
years.
does it. What I saw in Fury last night, what I saw in Wilder last night, I don't see that in Joshua. He's a nice guy. He's friendly. He's someone I would love to take home to meet mom and dad. But the dog in him, that's not him. I'm just being honest. He's talented. That's not him. But last night, I think Wilder, what I see was so similar between him and Joshua. It seemed like he's suffering from panic attacks. Look in the fight. He got gassed out real early. In the first round, he was trying to go to the body, but it didn't look. He didn't have any fluidity in his punches. It was more like, okay, Malik Scott told me if he come right here, throw the jab to the body. Okay, now I got to throw the 1-2.
It was forced, right, Coach? It wasn't instinctive, right?
Right. He had no fluidity.
I was saying the same thing. I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a Wilder fan, right? So initially I was thinking, okay, go to the body. That's good, but you need to relax.
Right.
He looked tight. He looked
tight.
like
he looked tight.
Rigid, and it's like
Divine.
and so for me,
he was overselling it. Like he was stepping in too hard from the jump. He should have just shot it out there. He was stepping so hard with his front foot and leaning so far in.
Right.
And he was putting too much. He was so tight.
So tight. Like, I was on a live during the entire fight with my man Brian Macie, who's an ex amateur fighter, and he was saying, like, why is he throwing such hard power shots early?
Yeah,
and I was leading up to the fight. I watched the pad work with Malik Scott, and I'm like, this is good. You know what I mean? A lot of it's, a little bit choreographed and it's theatrical, but it's good. I mean, in retrospect, it's like, yeah, you want to go to the body, not just throw 1-2 punches, but do some combos to the body, right? But it's you don't go ham in the first fucking round, or even the first 2 rounds.
Lennox even said that too. Lennox was saying the same thing.
I said the same thing.
And Lennox pointed out something good in that fight, by the way. When Wilder started struggling, Lennox almost screamed in the mic. He's like, Deontay needs to stop moving to his left. He's going right into Fury's right hand. And Wilder was just kept going to his left and going to his left and going back, going to his left. And Lennox was like, he was like, "What are you doing, man? Why you keep moving the same direction?"
Like he's actually,
but you know what?
Towards him.
Yeah, and the 11th round stoppage to me, clean flush shot. I don't want to take that away from Fury, but he was just so exhausted.
It's exhaustion.
He was done. And to this guy, do I address you as new media, or how do I address you, bro?
That's coach. That's coach. That's coach.
Okay, coach.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So
that's the mighty coach.
So, guys,
coach,
I'm over here. Y'all got some good green over here.
yeah. So, to kind of go off of Coach Point a little bit, is I agree as far as having that dog in you. Wilder, to me, I was thinking to myself, I think he might quit, but he kept fighting, and I think that there shouldn't be any question about his chin either. I mean, he was taking hellacious shots from Fury with no guard, nothing, chin up in the air, standing straight up in the air like this, and just getting pieced up, bop, bop,
man.
And he was just, and it's like, I was totally mind blown at the fact. In the 9th, 10th round, he was still able to take these shots. Completely just gobsmacked. The dude he's cut from that man. He wore that uniform of his tribe from Nigeria, and he represented that shit with pride.
He's not from Nigeria.
Who's got a better
from
chin?
Alabama.
Who's got a better chin, Joshua or Wilder?
Here we go, Beeb again.
He hates it. He hates it. He hates it.
I never answered that question. You know that, right? I never answered that
question. Go ahead, Troy. Go ahead, Troy.
Now, who we took? We said Joshua or Wilder?
Yeah, who's got a better chin?
No.
At this stage, I would say Joshua because he's never been knocked out. He's been TKO, but he's never been knocked out.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
I mean,
let's not digress.
Well, let me say this, Troy. So
he make a valid point, though.
Wilder got knocked out. It's true, but let me say this though, right?
That's true.
Was Joshua out of it? Because that was kind of like my thought. I thought he was out of it in the Ruiz fight. He was out of sorts and maybe just didn't know where he was. And the ref stopped it, right?
Can I say, though, that I have published
or did he quit in that fight?
Hold on. Can I say, though, that I've published an interview? You're not going to like it, but I've published an interview with Sarah Fina, who was Big Baby Miller's on his what is it, the promotional team.
She's his PR person.
Well, she was working for his promotional team.
He's a PR. She's his PR person. I talked to her
before the promoter went to jail. She was okay. So can I say that I published an interview here on YouTube where she says that she knows they knew that Anthony Joshua was concussed in training because they had a person in the training camp. So when you talk about that, that's factual. I have the video. You can go. I'll post it in the chat here later when it's published. Right.
Okay.
So knowing that he was concussed, you have to factor that in. And I will add to that. What's the guy Michael Bent who fought Herbie Hyde? Michael Bent, I think his name is, fought Herbie Hyde. Michael Bent had been concussed. He's an English guy who lives in the USA. He was concussed in training. The doctor told him, don't go to England to fight. Don't go. It will be very dangerous for you. He went to England to fight, got knocked out by whoever I just said. What's his name? Herbie Hyde. And he spent 3 weeks in hospital in a coma as a result of being concussed. So I think you might want to factor that in when you talk about Joshua going into that fight concussed. Facts.
Do you think that, and as well as I do, once you get a concussion, you have the tendency to probably get another one when you get hit, right?
I haven't studied it that deeply, B, but if you're telling me that's the case, then so be it. So what you're saying is that Joshua
and I say that without
forever be compromised, and if that's what you're saying, so be it.
No, what I'm saying is, have you noticed the difference? In Joshua, maybe because he's been injured, maybe subconsciously he's trying to overly protect himself in the ring. Right?
That's a very real possibility, is it not?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, Just making
Yeah, what you do,
making an observation. In other words,
yeah, beep. Nobody's arguing with you.
Well, let me do this with the question. So I understand the question is who has a better chin, right? But let me do this instead. Who do you think is more likely to get knocked out if the other one hits them flush? Like if Wilder hit Joshua flush, or if Joshua hit Wilder flush? Who's more likely to get knocked out?
Joshua.
Oh, Joshua.
Joshua.
I think
Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua.
No.
You know.
Well,
No, I'm sorry, Wilder's who I meant to say. I'm sorry, Wilder.
well,
Oh, Troy, you're
I'm
I'm
killing
gonna
me.
tell you why.
You're killing me.
No,
Troy.
no. I don't really care, but I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh my God.
Because number one, we've never seen him take a punch from a heavy puncher or a big puncher. We haven't. So, and on top of that, he doesn't do any road work. You see how skinny his legs are? He does no work. He does no
Yeah,
road work.
but they showed footage of him doing road work for this camp.
Ooh.
He's got a
that
trail.
don't mean nothing. That don't mean
He's got a
nothing.
beautiful trail. You see that trail he has at his house?
He's not.
How long is that trail? I don't know.
After
That don't mean
16
nothing.
years,
That's running consistently. He has not
after
been
15,
doing road work
16 years, he's now running.
He's
So,
not been
hold
doing
on,
road work
Troy.
and road work.
Troy,
Okay.
Troy, let me get this
Okay,
straight. Ortiz is not a hard puncher, right?
Let me finish my answer. I've seen Joshua take punches from Dillian White, flush. I've seen him take punches from Klitschko. I've seen him take punches from Povetkin, Tamkin, and who else did he fight?
Ruiz.
He never fought Ruiz.
Bad example.
Joshua never fought Ruiz.
Oh yeah. Andy Ruiz. I've seen him take punches from all these people, and he stood up. I can't say the same thing for Wilder. I can't.
Wilder took a big shot from Ortiz and came back.
That's one guy. That's one guy.
I didn't hear what you're saying because my signal is weak out here.
So Troy, well, what he's saying, what about Ortiz? Like he hit Wilder clean, right? Because let me give you a quick example. Can we all agree, like that Joe Joyce, he stopped Dubois, like you know what I mean? He's a big heavyweight, has heavy punches, right? Can you agree to that?
Absolutely.
About Joyce.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Now Joyce wasn't able to stop Brian Jennings. You know who did stop Brian Jennings? Ortiz.
He TKO
right?
Jennings. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that has to give us something.
And so did Rivas.
Rivas is a big puncher.
But Rivas is a big puncher. But what I'm saying is, put it in perspective, right? Klitschko couldn't stop by Jennings. Neither could George Joyce. Now I'm not saying that means everything. I don't believe in like triangle theory or anything like that. I'm just saying put it in perspective.
Why'd you bring it up?
Right? So you could put it in perspective.
I think because we both because we do think Ortiz is a big puncher.
Yeah,
we can't find out. We just can't find out because of the reasons we've been over previously in the show.
So I mean,
you guys understand too. Just food for thought. Ortiz's last fight. He knocked a dude out with his bicep, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that
Who's
fight?
this dude he knocked out though?
And the commission.
Who's the dude? Who's the dude?
But just the way he knocked him out was impressive. I mean, I don't care if he was the guy.
Who was the dude?
I don't care if he was the guy at 7-Eleven. If you're knocking someone out with your bicep, you can punch.
Flores,
I can tell you why that's important. I can tell you why that's important. If you're an A fighter, a B fighter, and a C fighter, you have a different level, of mentality, and you have a different level of toughness.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's why that's important. That's just a fact. I'm not making any of this up.
And that's why that win is pretty much irrelevant, really. It was Flores, man. It was Flores, and the commission withheld his money for a while until they eventually paid him.
We need this Wilder AJ fight. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
No, we do not. Wilder doesn't have any valuable
Why do you hate Wilder so much, bro? Like it's getting pretty ridiculous.
Listen to me. Listen, I'm really sick and tired of that because I am a boxing fan. Nothing I'm saying on here is coming from a point of my emotion.
You're not a Wilder
because I'm
fan.
giving. Let me finish my statement so I can clarify this nonsense here that he's thinking I'm hating somebody that I don't know. I don't know demand. But if I'm speaking to you from a point of a boxing fan who actually has some experience, he has no value to Joshua right now. Unless you want to tell me what his value is to Joshua right now. Why would he even fight him? He has
So
no
if
belt.
Joshua
He
loses
doesn't.
to
He
Usyk,
brings no crowd. Right? He's
Oh,
got
God.
stopped his
They're
last
both
2
coming
fights.
off of
So why would he
losses.
fight him? No. But he still has a country behind him. I'm
You
talking
didn't
about
see that
Joshua.
crowd? You didn't see that crowd last night?
Wilder doesn't
Wilder-
have a country behind
okay.
him. Are you serious?
You didn't see
No.
that crowd? That place was packed.
What country does he
yesterday.
have behind him?
There
You
was
see all
no
them
you know,
What country does he have behind him?
Troy, hold on, Troy.
What country
Magic
does he have
Johnson-
behind him?
United States. Magic Johnson was in that crowd. Shaq
No,
was in that crowd.
no.
So many actors and actresses were in that
Yes.
crowd. Why
Troy.
were they
Yes.
there?
Troy, let me ask you a question. What does he doesn't have value? Like, he's a heavyweight. Wilder's in the top 3 or 4 now. Wilder's one of the top heavyweights. Why Joshua shouldn't fight him because Wilder doesn't have any value? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, he's a
Yeah.
fighter. We want to see the big fights. As a fan, you should want to see big fights.
At the
It
moment,
shouldn't be
Coach.
predicated upon. Go ahead.
At the moment,
Usyk.
he has no value. He has
Usyk,
no value.
Alexander Usyk.
No.
But why? But,
Is
but
that
why,
your opinion?
what-
Is that your
you-
opinion or is that a fact?
No. That's
So
that,
AJ has no value. then. He
that
just
I
lost.
believe is a
That's
fact.
not that's your
No, listen,
opinion.
listen.
That's your opinion.
Hold.
That's
Let
your
me
opinion.
let me say this. Let me say this. Are you going to pay to see Wilder fight Joshua now after he's been stopped twice?
Yes.
By Fury?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a fan
Why?
of boxing.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
going to tell you why. You asked the
People
question.
say
I'm gonna tell you why.
Holyfield after he lost to Bo, right? It's not like they didn't say, oh, he lost the trilogy to Bo, so the value of Holyfield.
Oh my God, man! You just go all over the place with your comments. But go ahead, man.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. You asked me why. Because I'm a fan of the sport of boxing,
Yes,
and I
sir.
think that's a great fight. I'm like, you got Anthony Joshua. You know, he's a phenomenal talent, right? You have Deontay Wilder. He's a phenomenal talent. These are 2 of the top guys in the heavyweight division. Why wouldn't I want to see 2 top guys in the heavyweight division not fight each other? I'm not going to sit here and make an argument with, dude, you ain't got no value, and this guy ain't said aside. That's based on my opinion. These guys, like, Wilder's a top heavyweight. Listen, I don't know what are you gauging he has no value on. Like, is that your opinion? What facts do you have?
No. He's coming off 2 losses, Coach, and he hasn't won a fight in I don't know how long.
So what if
Wasn't
Joshua?
last
People,
night's
no.
fight-
But Coach, hear me out, please. Damn, you gotta let me finish my statement.
What?
If you're a guy that has money, if you're a backer, you're not gonna back a guy that just lost twice by stoppage, a TKO, and then got knocked out, because that would make no financial sense. So that's what I'm saying.
Troy,
He has to come back and he has to build himself up.
So Troy,
Why would anybody put any money behind him now when he has no audience?
I think we understand what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Let me get this in. What if Joshua loses to Usyk again? Does he have value?
He has to build himself right back up. He falls in the same category. He has to build himself back
so
up.
if he
The only
loses-
difference is
so
though that he's a brand. He's a brand, so he could build himself back up faster than Wilder can.
Possibly.
That's the
But
only
here's the thing.
Oh my goodness.
If they both are coming off 2 losses, right? Would it be a good fight?
At that point, because they're standing on equal ground, I would say it's an okay fight. Yeah, go ahead and do it. But right now, no, it doesn't make any financial sense.
Well, they can't do it
doesn't
right
make
now.
any.
But they can't do it right now because Usyk has to fight Joshua again. So we understand that.
Hypothetically, we're having a conversation. We're having a hypothetical conversation.
Okay,
All right,
so can I
so-
say something really quick? So
Go ahead,
look,
D-Time.
maybe you interpreted me saying that they should do it right away now. Now, I wouldn't be against it, by the way, if they did it next. But at some point, let me explain to you why I want to see the fight, okay? Because I don't want people for generations in the future to be debating about who would have won, right? I want them to fight and settle it in the ring if it's not based on opinion, right? Because like Ralph was saying earlier, we don't know, right? We don't know until they fight. So they need to fight for us to know, right? I want to know who would win the fight, right? And the winner will be the winner. If AJ goes in there and smashes Wilder, right, destroys him, you get to come on here and you get to say, hey, I told you guys that he was a hype job. He was a hype train.
I don't do that, though. I don't do that.
No, I'm not saying you would. But you get what I'm saying. Like you would get to know. Like forget all that. You would know for a fact that AJ beat him. No discussion. Nobody could come to you and be like, nah, I think Wilder would have beat him. Like no, because they fought and AJ won, right? So at some point, I want to see the fight. Okay. By the way, when I make the comparison to Holyfield coming off a loss, that's not random. I didn't say, hey, I like chocolate milk. Okay. It was relevant to what I said, to what we were talking about. Okay. It's not this out of nowhere thing. Oh, you're all over the place. I didn't say, hey, I like ducks and I like puppies. That's not what I said. Right. It was relevant to the point I was making.
I think Divine Sense want to say something. Go ahead, fam.
Yeah, sorry. I just see the picture behind you, Coach, of the great Muhammad Ali, and I'm just sitting here thinking, what's wrong? Even if you don't like Wilder or you don't think he has value, what happened to the good old days where all the top 5, 6, 7 heavyweights all fought each other multiple times?
Well, according to
Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Ken Norton. Ken Norton always gave Muhammad Ali problems. And so why wouldn't you want to see that in our era now? The problem with our era now is fighters only fight one fucking time a year.
Well, you know what? This is what I got to say about that.
Nowhere in any of my state. Okay, go ahead, Coach.
No, this is what I got to say about that. There's nothing that no one on this panel can say that's going to change Troy's mind. Troy, there's nothing that you can say that's going to change my mind. The only thing that we're going to agree on this particular subject matter, we're going to agree to disagree. You can talk till your lips fall off. I totally disagree with everything you're saying as it relates to this.
I agree with you.
And I can talk to my lips fall off. You're going to totally disagree. So we might as well just move on because Troy, nobody's agreeing. I definitely don't agree with you on it. And you good. You know you're my man, but I don't agree with you on that. Me being a fan of the sport of boxing, just like my man Divine Sense says, I want to see the top guys fight each other. I don't have time to sit back and say, well, you know what, he ain't got no value, and he ain't got no money. And this guy, listen, I'm not getting into the business. I'm a fan of the sport of boxing. I want to see
the promoters. Let the promoters worry about that.
I let you talk. Let me talk. You can respond. Let me talk and let me respond. Let the top guys fight each other. Now, if you want to be a promoter or a manager and figure out, well, numbers-wise, it don't make sense, and this guy coming off 2 losses, and then this guy, he got a whole country. If that's what you want to do, I'll leave that up to you. But as a fan, we want to see the top guys fight each other. And that's it. That's all I'm saying, But we can agree to disagree on that. That's all.
69% to 31%.
Okay, cool. Let me respond now. I never once stated I never wanted to see the fight. I simply said that he has no value right now. I never once came out my mouth and said I don't want to see the fight either to the dude in the top right corner. I never once said that either. You asked me a question, and I clearly stated that at the present time he has no value to Joshua.
He has no value to you.
So that's why the fight won't.
But that's your opinion.
No.
That's your opinion.
I wish I could pick up the phone right now. No, hold on. I wish I could pick up the phone right now and call Eddie Fudge. No, not Eddie Fudge. Eddie Hearn. Eddie Fudge is a trainer that passed away. Must he be calling me? Eddie Hearn, and ask him the same question so he could clarify this mess.
That will be his opinion.
But I can't.
And that will be his opinion.
That would be a fact because he's the one who would actually make the fight happen.
That would be an opinion.
No, he's the one that makes the fight happen.
That would be an opinion.
Really quick, Troy. Really quick. The question was,
that would be an opinion.
You've been dealing with opinions this whole, whole life.
That's what we do over here. We have opinions.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's what we do over here. We have opinions.
He did say if I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand you. You said that I know you said I never said I didn't want to see it, but do you want to see it?
At this present time, no, I don't want to see them fight at this present time. But somewhere down the road, sure. Somewhere down the road, sure, but I'm not interested in seeing it now.
It doesn't have value to you. It has value to me because I would buy it.
That's the answer.
Anything I choose to spend my money on has value to me.
That's the answer.
You have no
right.
Then
you should buy a shirt.
You have no right.
Buy a shirt.
Well, you should buy a camera.
We have to buy
a camera and stop having put the avatar back up. My bad.
Come on. We have to ask the question, however, whoever at the divineness, we have to ask the question, however, can we want something for Deontay Wilder that he does not want for himself?
Well, I mean,
I mean, again, we're getting into the money side and the promoting side, which is my least favorite topic to discuss. All I know is when he knocked out Ortiz in the second fight, he called out Joshua, and that's
all
what
I
I'm
know
standing
is
on.
they turned down 120 mil.
Oh, you're talking about money
Joshua
again. You're
turned
talking
down
about
50,
promoters.
and then if we're
Well,
gonna
he
go
turned
by
down the
history-
offer. He turned down the offer. He
Did
turned down
Joshua
the
turn,
massive
did Joshua
offer
turn down
by
50?
Joshua.
Did Joshua
Sorry?
turn down 50?
He didn't turn down 120. He turned down an email. He turned down an Instagram offer. That's for
how
sure.
many
Did-
fights was it,
24
Ralph? How
hours,
many fights?
24 hours Instagram offer.
It was 3
For
fights,
sure.
Ralph. It was 3
Okay.
fights.
Yeah, 3 fights, 20 for Breezel.
Can I ask you a
And then-
question? Can I ask you
Yeah.
a question? Did the zone follow through on their deal with Canelo, or did they restructure it, or did they actually pull it off the table?
They restructured it and
They pulled it off the table, right?
Okay, cool. Carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
but
so-
my
and
question
so-
is, can we want something for Deontay Wilder that he doesn't want for himself?
Well,
That's my
I would
question.
have to ask him what he wants for me to know what he wants.
I'm not in his mind. I don't know.
I don't
Well,
have his. I don't.
He
I don't,
doesn't seem. He doesn't seem.
I don't talk
overeager-
to him on a regular basis, so I
He
would never
doesn't
know
seem
what he
overeager
wants.
to face Joshua, though, does he?
Can you call him, B? Can we call him?
Overeager. He doesn't seem like
I
it's on his
actually
list of
did.
priorities.
Someone did give me his number, but he don't pick the phone up.
Yeah, I got his number one time too. I think he was posted. I didn't go.
You know who posted his number? Guess who got his number? Remember, friggin' Charlie Z actually got his number when he posted it. That sick bastard.
Charlie Z.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm saying, can we want? It's a serious question, Divineness. I'm saying, can we want something for Deontay Wilder that Deontay Wilder doesn't want for himself?
But how do you know what Deontay Wilder wants for himself?
I don't
That's
know.
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know. I don't know.
That's a trick question, Ralph, and I'll tell you why it's a trick question, because that's true about anything, right? If someone doesn't want something, right, we can't force him to. It's like that old saying, right? You can take the horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink it. So I get it. So
Ralph
in your
got a slick
hypothetical,
tongue. Ralph
if
got a slick tongue. I'd love to hear him spit.
listen to your question. If Wilder doesn't want it for himself, can we want it for him? Like, well, of course not. That's true about anybody. But I don't know whether or not Wilder wants the AJ fight. I mean, look, fighters are never the same, right? Some of them recovered, like Pacquiao got knocked out, got back up, kept doing his thing. Others are never the same, right? So we don't know how Wilder's going to react to all this, right? But sometimes losses actually make fights more possible, you know? Like, so I'm just saying.
Has Joshua ever called out Wilder himself?
He did with the offer. He says, "Listen, we've made him offers. We've made
He actually has.
We've made him offers. We've made him offers.
No, Ralph. He was on. You remember this, Ralph, when he was sitting there and he said, "They say it's a $100 million fight."
Yeah.
Well, look, let's do it 50-50. Give me $50 million, and we'll make the fight happen. And then they offered him the $50 million, Ralph.
That was an Instagram offer with a 24-hour deadline. Come on. Let's not do that. That's ridiculous. That
He
was
said, "Give me $50 million and let's make the fight," and they obliged, and he didn't take it.
Come on,
you can argue he had a good reason not to take it.
That was an Instagram offer with a 24-hour
Eddie Hearn came out and
deadline.
said he should. Eddie Hearn came out and said Joshua shouldn't have said that. That's what Eddie Hearn did.
So
Right?
they said, let's meet up and talk. It sounds good. Let's meet up and talk. Shelly Finkel said no.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do we have those transcripts, or do we have copies, or like a recording of these phone calls?
Well, you
Or we're just taking Eddie Hearn's word for it.
Again, it just the water just becomes muddied for me when we start talking about what promoters said, what managers said, because these
we don't know
motherfuckers
for
lie
a
all the
fact.
time.
We don't know for a fact.
They lie all the time, man. All I can say is, what is the fighter saying? What does the fighter want? And the fighter doesn't always get what they want. Let's be honest. Yeah. Promoters get in the way, managers get in the way. They're like, "Nah, that's not a good fight for you. Let's do this one instead." And at the end of the day, fighters got to show up and do their job. You know what I mean? But it's for me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, Ralph, but it's just a pet peeve when we sit here and go back and forth about supposed guarantees and money and what promoters are saying. I mean, do we really have to go down the laundry list of promoters throughout boxing history who have talked shit out of their ass?
Ultimately, I think Joshua beats Wilder. Ultimately, I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see it too.
Well, the only way we're going to find out unless they fight. Other than that, it's just going to be if your team Wilder Wilder beats everybody in the history of the heavyweight division. If you're team AJ, he's the best fighter that ever put on a pair of gloves. So I get it. I understand both sides of the spectrum. You know, this is how it is. But until they fight each other, it's just gonna be what I think, and until they got to fight each other. So I want to see the fights. They clear all doubts.
Ralph, want to hear the results of the poll?
My position
Ralph, want to hear the results of the poll, Ralph? Ralph, want to hear the results?
My heavyweight is Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis fought everybody.
You want to hear the results of the poll? Want to hear the results of the poll, Ralph?
Yeah.
68% say Wilder would win. 32% say Joshua would win.
And that's their opinion. Now, let me step in here and say this, right?
This chat is very knowledgeable, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. It certainly is when it's in your favor.
100%,
let me tell you what.
100%. I'm the king of confirmation.
Let me say this though. I got you, but a few years ago, you know, I told somebody else on another panel that Joshua Wilder will be the Bo Fury of this era.
You did say that.
It's never going to happen. Never.
Don't be a negative, Nelly. Come on.
It's never going to happen.
What's never going to happen?
No, it's not going to happen.
What's never going to happen?
Joshua versus Wilder is never going to happen.
I think it's never going to happen.
And if it does happen now,
my reason is because
it's actually very tarnished.
I don't think Wilder wants it. I'll be honest with you. I want to see the fight. I wanted to see the fight for years. I don't think Wilder wants it. Am I in his camp? No. Have I got his telephone bugged? No. I'm just talking from my personal opinion. I don't think Wilder wants it. I want to see the fight. I wanted to see the fight for years. I want to see all of the top guys fight each other.
I think if Joshua loses to Usyk again, I think it's very possible it could happen.
Yeah, I just from what I'm seeing from Joshua, from a myth, and again, I have a lot of people who saying the same thing, from Roy Jones to Foreman and I'm not using them as references really, but from what I see from Joshua, it's not physical. He has the physical skills. It's here. Something is going on with this guy here. He has heart to get in the ring, but as soon as he get in the ring, it's like he starts to panic if he gets hit. He starts gasping for air. It's like he's having an anxiety attack. And I don't see the killer in him here. You're 6'6", 240 pounds. You're fighting a guy 6'3", 220 pounds. You are the bigger guy. Fight like you the bigger guy. Wow, Fury showed you last night. I'm 6'9", I'm 277 pounds. I got dropped by a guy 2 inches shorter than me. I'm 40 pounds bigger than him. I'm going to fight like I'm the bigger guy. And I didn't see that from Joshua. So Joshua's my favorite heavyweight, but I'm not going to cap for him. The dude looks mentally, something is wrong. He looks mentally weak not mentally weak from the standpoint not getting in the ring.
He doesn't look confident, coach. He doesn't look confident.
He doesn't look confident. When he gets in the ring, he looks lost. And then he knows he's losing the fight. I saw the look in his eyes. And I didn't see that. Even with Wilder, I saw the look in his eyes, but Wilder was like, I'm still trying. I'm going all out. I didn't see that in Joshua. And I don't have any confidence in him anymore. Is he still my favorite heavyweight in the division? Yes, but do I have confidence in him? No, I don't. I don't.
And coach, you know, Joshua strikes me as a guy that you can go in the gym and see him doing mitts and even sparring and doing work in the gym. You're like, man, this guy is technically sound. He's doing everything perfect. Right. He looks great. And as a coach, you're like, yeah, you're doing good, man. We're ready for the fight. But as soon as he gets under the lights, something just happens. It's crazy, you know. It's
I'm kind of like back and forth with it. Like, for example, the fight with what's the name of that dude?
Usyk.
No, not before Usyk.
You're talking about
Pulev, right? Like, I was actually impressed with that performance. I know a lot of people were like, no, I saw some this and that, and maybe the Usyk fight gave people some confirmation bias, but I was actually impressed. Like I saw him do a pull counter, and I'm like, whoa, damn, hey, like a heavyweight doing a pull counter. Like, you know, I was actually impressed with that performance and the way I wasn't, you know, but that's me, right? And you know, and maybe there's just something I missed in that fight, right? And I'll admit that. Obviously, we saw what happened in the Usyk fight. But I will say this, and I honestly feel this way. If AJ can fix, because I see it too, right? And I kind of want Ralph's thoughts on this, because I think he'll disagree. But I feel it too. I see it as well. I saw it in the Usyk fight. Like, that dog in him was missing, right? Like, he didn't want to be there at times. That's what I saw. But if he could fix that, I don't know how he will, but if he could fix that, he could possibly be the best heavyweight in the world. But he needs to fix that. Like to me, his offensive arsenal is the best in the game, right? When you put it all together, like his arsenal as a heavyweight is the best, right? Not so much his defense, although it's okay. But there's these mental, I don't know what you want to call it, mental lapses, these moments of, kind of hesitance that he's having and being he's like overdoing it, like with like being cautious and stuff like that. So, he was very unsure of himself in that Usyk fight. Now, I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe that was just all Usyk, and it was just a difficult fight for him. He'll have an opportunity in the rematch to maybe redeem himself. But Ralph, do you see what I see? Do you see some hesitance there from AJ, like right now?
Okay, let me come in here. So there's this narrative that I'm the Joshua guy. Listen. Before I answer your question, let me just clarify.
It's not a narrative, brother. But
it is a narrative. I am a Lennox Lewis guy. We were hoping that Joshua would be a new Lennox Lewis. He is not. Okay. So that's just my first point.
I agree.
Is not. We wanted him to be, but he's not. Now that's the reality. Now, since the Ruiz fight, where I have a video, which I'll post a link to it after this thing is uploaded. I'll post a link so you go there, you'll see it, first comment. I have the video where Serafina says that we had a guy in the camp and Anthony Joshua was concussed in the camp. Now, okay, now that's point 2. Now, point 3, we know it appears that he is somewhat compromised. That's what we're saying. We know that he's somewhat compromised. But listen, my position is, compromised or not, I still want to see him fight all the top guys.
Yep.
I don't care if he's compromised. This is boxing. You can have multiple losses and come back.
And I feel the same way about Wilder.
Vitali got scorched by Brewster, Lamont Brewster. He got knocked out by
Vladimir. That was Vladimir. Not
Vladimir, my bad. Got knocked out by also Rans and came back to dominate. So I don't care how compromised or not compromised the guy may be. I want to see them in fight.
I'm with you,
top guys.
I agree 100%. But what I'm talking about is but you do see that he's like a little compromised in the ring.
I just said it, brother.
Right? No. I just
to be compromised, but I don't care if he's compromised or not.
But I wanted to ask you a follow up really quick. Do you think he should change trainers?
Of course, I feel that he should change trainers.
Okay.
Tommy Brooks should be his trainer. Tommy Brooks.
Or keep the head trainer, but bring in another guy.
Tommy Brooks.
I'm not fussed with it. He needs to change trainers to somebody a bit. Listen. We're talking about, what's his name again? Rob
McCracken. Rob McCracken. Yeah.
Rob McCracken. His primary job is an amateur trainer. That's his primary job. Anthony Joshua needs a trainer whose primary job is to train him in a professional setup.
Tommy Brooks.
And I want to see him fight all the top guys. That's how you gain full legitimacy.
You know, last night I looked at I don't know if you guys saw this, D-Style and Habib and Divine Sense and everybody on the panel. Sugar Hill, Tyson Fury said that the reason why he won that fight last night against Deontay Wilder was because of Sugar Hill. He said Sugar Hill told him, "You are the big dog. This is big dog time. He's tired. Get his ass out of there. You the bigger man. Beat him like you the bigger man." That's what he said. I'm just like paraphrasing, right? And he said so. And this is what I said. I said, listen, man, who do I trust in the clutch? Do I trust a guy named Malik Scott, who's never trained anyone on this level, the biggest fight of this guy's career, or do I trust Sugar Hill Stewart? This is the reason why I picked. I felt like Sugar Hill. I know he has a track record. Now, Malik Scott did good last night, bro. He did better than I thought he was going to do. I was wrong about Malik Scott. I thought he was a glorified hype man. I still kind of believe that, but as a trainer, he's gonna be a damn good trainer. He's gonna be a damn good trainer. So he earned my respect. I'm gonna give him an apology today on the show. I'm gonna give Wilder his props. He was a warrior. You know, he was a warrior. I can't take that from him. But until Joshua understands, I'm 6'6", 240, 250 pounds. I am the big man. Until he understands that and gets that mentality in the ring, we gonna see the wide-eyed Joshua, the guy who, okay, what am I gonna do next? That's what we're gonna continue to see. And I just, you know, and that's just how I see it. You know?
You guys don't think he could fix that?
He has to get that back.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He got to get it back.
He just needs the right trainer.
Yeah.
No, but he needs a right trainer that's not going to stroke his ego, who's going to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
That's what Tommy Brooks will do. Tommy Brooks has trained 25 world champions and many Hall of Famers. Tommy Brooks is stepping. As a matter of fact, man, you know, if he wants to keep the training he has right now, Tommy Brooks could step in, you know, as a full-time advisor to that guy and use his voice because he comes with a hell of a lot of experience. Holyfield, Tyson, Hakeem Rahman, Ray Mercer, and a ton of other fighters that he's trained. All these, you know, because how I see Joshua is Joshua has that toughness in him because we've seen it before. I mean, come on, the dude is a 2-time unified champion. He's no punk. But somewhere along the line, he buried it. He buried it, and someone has to dig it up out of him. And the crew that he has right now is not the crew to dig it up out of him because they're handling him like money instead of handling him like how he's supposed to be handled.
You know what, Ralphie? I'm gonna say this. You want Tyson. You know, I know you're saying that we wanted Anthony Joshua to be more like Lennox Lewis. The only way he's going to be more like Lennox Lewis, he has to have the Lennox Lewis mentality. He's missing the mentality. Anthony Joshua reminds me more of Frank Bruno than Lennox Lewis. You know, he's more like Frank Bruno. He's the nice guy, very sweet, cuddly, stuff like that. He doesn't have that Lennox Lewis mentality.
It's a good comparison.
He doesn't have. He really reminds me of Frank Bruno. You know, let's go have some tea and yada yada. You know, take some pictures with Usyk. You know, and while we putting the gloves on, we're gonna take selfies together. Listen, man, once that contract signed, the hell with you. It's beef. I don't like you. I don't like your mama. I don't like your team. I'm just saying me. You know what I mean? I'm not taking selfies with you while we're trying our gloves on. I'm not doing that. Yep. You're too goddamn nice. Where is that killer at? That's gonna be my critics. I know I'm gonna get heat from the Wilder the Fury fan, the Joshua fanboys, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But dude, I'm telling you, the dude too goddamn nice. I don't want to take selfies with you. We're not drinking tea. We're not gonna have shandies at the pub. The hell with you. You're coming to my country to beat my ass, take my belts, and I'm 6'6", 240 something pounds. I'm the big guy. You need to fight like one. Until he get that Lennox Lewis mentality, this is what it's gonna be. That's how I feel.
100% agree. 100%.
Well, I don't agree. He needs to find anybody else's personality. He needs to find that toughness that's always been in him, and he needs to bring that back up. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe it is because of the first loss and you know the punishment he took in there. But you know what? He has to have somebody in his corner that tells him it's time to move on. You can't get stuck. The same thing with a quarterback. Let's say you're in the Super Bowl and you just threw a pick. You come back out and throw another pick. The coach, when you go back on the sideline, the coach is going to tell you, you got to forget about that. You got to forget about that. You got a Super Bowl to win. And someone has to tell him that you have to forget about that loss. You have a fight to win.
Yeah.
You're a big man. You're a tough guy. And you have to remember that. And you have to fight like that. That whole fight that he fought last time, that was trash. The fight that he fought against Pulev, it was strange because it's like he was there and then he wasn't there. And then he was there, then he wasn't there, and then he stopped him. He could have stopped him in round 3. He could have. But he was in a battle within himself. I see it in his eyes. He has a mental block somewhere. And I'm telling you, Tommy Brooks can fix that. All he got to do, I just got to reach out to someone in England and get that done.
I want to welcome the head of public relations for Matchroom Boxing right now, Papoose. How you doing, brother?
I knew you were going to say that.
I was like, what?
Yeah, you know, Papoose is one of my favorite rappers, man. One of my favorite rappers.
That ain't that Papoose right now, better.
I know
What do you
it
mean? What do you mean? My presence alone is a threat to these rap groups.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
so's that
let's-
thick English accent.
Let's hear it. I haven't had a laugh in a long time. Tell me what you
I
got.
know you haven't. I know you haven't. All right, let's get to it. First of all, respect to Tyson Fury for a fantastic victory. Got to give him all the props for absolutely mauling Wilder and putting an absolute beating on him after being out of the ring for such a long time as well. So, and respect to Wilder for getting in the ring, going out on his shield. I think this whole thing of him having heart and this, that, and the other, I think that's a bit rubbish, because once he was in that position, he was never going to pack it in, was he? After everything that he'd said about eye for an eye and all these bollocks, there was no way he was going to pack it in. So he was going to have to get splattered all over the ring. There was no choice. Like, he was going to have to go out in that way. So I think both men showed us what they're made of. In Fury's case, that his new style, his bullying style, works very well against someone that can't fight on the inside, that has very slow feet and very bad fight IQ. And in Wilder's sense, it showed that he's still got a lot of power in the right hand. If you stand still in front of him, allow him to post and measure with his lead hand, he can still knock you out. You know, if you stand there for an elongated period of time. So really enjoyed the fight. Thought it was really good because it ends all of this propaganda and bullshit that's come from Wilder and his sycophant fans. We get to move on now. We get to see some other fights, which is what we want. We get to see Fury against some other people. Hopefully, we get to see Wilder against some other people as well. I don't know if that's going to happen, but hopefully that's what we get. We get to see Wilder against other contemporaries, because it's about time that he fought somebody else in the division, regardless of if it's PBC fighters or Matchroom fighters or whatever. Let's just see them fight some other people, because it's been too long. So
you weren't impressed at all with the resolve of Deontay Wilder in that fight last night, the way he kept trying to come back, the way he kept fighting back so hard. You didn't think that took a lot of courage, a lot of guts, a lot of determination, and a lot of heart as well. You didn't see that?
Credit for going out on the shield. I think I heard him say that.
Oh, he criticized. He says that people are overstating that. That's what he said.
I do think people are overstating it. I think any fighter in Wilder's position would have done the same thing.
I 100% disagree with that. I don't agree. No way.
I think all of them guys in the top 8 or whatever, you know, when they're in that position, they're going to try and fight to the end. Especially because Fury was relatively sloppy in periods in the fight. He gave Wilder a chance to keep coming back. That's probably because Fury had been out of the ring for such a long time. He wasn't as sharp as he was in the fight back in,
But go ahead, no, I'm gonna ask you a quick question to give it back to you. But he was doing the same thing in the first fight. He was still fighting back. He was off balance. Like, he was still throwing back. Like, he didn't show me any signs that he was ready to just give up. You know what I mean? I think there's been plenty of fighters, right, that have talked a lot of smack. And when the time came, they found a way to pack it in. Like, it would have been easy for Wilder to just stay down when he went down the first time. It would have been easy for him to just stay down. He could have slowly gotten up and let the ref say 10, and it would have been over. But he kept getting up.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, D-Style. You know, I've been hard on not me, just not Wilder fans, but the fanboys and those other channels.
It's a feast for crows. It's coming.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. But Wilder got so much respect for me last night. Bro, like, I'm not going to take a crap on this guy. This guy, I'm taking crap. I can talk trash about him not being a good sportsman and stuff like that. Fury beat his ass last night. It was a battle. He came back, dropped Fury twice in the 4th round. Some people said it was a controversy with the ref and all that stuff there. That's fine. But let me tell you something, dog. For you to fight to the 11th round when you're dead tired, he was tired by the 4th round, even when he knocked Fury down. He was tired, and he was bro. Do you know how hard it is to fight when you are fatigued? You're taking punches, and it's the late D'Amato said that fatigues make cowards out of all of us. Right? You could be the baddest guy on the planet, but when your ass get tired, all that tough guy shit go out the window. All you have is heart and grit to determine. I can't quit. I can't quit. That dude, bro. Let me tell you something, man. I gotta. Yeah, my crowd's on. Bet when it does. Anyways, no, but that guy, he put on a fight last night, bro. He gets so much credit from me. The man.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question. So we're gonna give him lots of credit for fighting through being exhausted after the 4th round, rather than critiquing. Why were you tired after 4 rounds? Why were you exhausted after 4 rounds?
No, hear me out. We're not at that part yet. Why he was tired and the strategy and whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about that as well. But I'm talking about what I'm talking about.
But that's boxing. But that's boxing, though, isn't it? That's boxing. You can't go. Oh, you did so great. You managed to fight through being exhausted after only three or 4 rounds of the fight. Well, how did you get in that position? You can't get credit for that shit because you put yourself in that position. You had all this time to prepare. You knew the style that you were coming up against, and instead you got yourself into shape that actually made you have a lower gas tank than in the second fight.
Yeah, sure, but he could have quit.
Yeah,
he could have quit.
But I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm just giving him credit for his heart. Now you can, I don't know if you like Wilder or not. You can say that he's a bum, this, that. I don't give him credit for nothing. That's your opinion. We're just going to agree to disagree on it. You know what I mean? There's nothing you're going to say to change my mind. There's nothing I'm going to say to change your mind. We can just agree to disagree on that. But for me, he gets credit. For me, Fury gets credit for getting knocked down twice in the 4th round. He could have packed it in. Because he would look like he was out of there. He could have packed it in. And he came back. These guys won. And Fury fought. Fury fought and got him out of there. And I picked Fury to win in the 10th round stoppage. And I had the receipts. I'm gonna play it today. I picked him.
I remember you did, Coach. I was there when you did it live.
And I said that the reason why I said that when Wilder gets tired, I have more faith in Fury to dig deep to get Wilder out of there versus. And I talked about that, and I was off by a round. But other than that,
here's a question for you, Coach. Here's a question: Do you think a sharper Fury would have got Wilder out of there a little bit earlier?
I think what you mean a sharper Fury? They was both out 20 months at the same time. That's no excuse. Fury was sharp.
Okay. So you don't see that's my point. So I'm saying you don't think if the layoff for both men was didn't go the same duration of time. It wasn't as long a layoff for both.
Okay, so let's say the answer is yes. Let's say yes. He would have gotten him out earlier. What does that have to do with his heart?
It's a completely separate question.
Now we're talking about two.
I'm just asking. Cool. I'm actually talking about the actual fight, like what happened in the actual fight. Like the heart bit is whatever in it. These are. I don't care. Go ahead.
Let me just jump in and say one thing. I'll be honest. I think the layoff actually hurt Fury more because Wilder, I think it benefited in one regard. He was coming off a surgery, and he was the guy that was coming off of a loss, and he's had some injuries over the course of his career. He had a broken hand, tore his bicep in both arms, had a broken wrist. I think the time away maybe not. Wouldn't have made him sharper, but I think it would have actually healed him, give him time to heal up better, in other words. So in that regard, I think the layoff probably could have hurt Fury more than it hurt Wilder. That's just my opinion, though.
I agree. I think if they hadn't been off for such a long time, I think Fury would have stopped him a lot.
So earlier. I think it was a little bit beneficial for Wilder to have that extra time because he was coming off the surgery and he was coming off of injuries, and he was the guy that lost. So he needed, I would imagine, in my opinion, would need more time to get a game plan and get acclimated. And it gave him more time to get acclimated to the new trainer as well. So that's why I think the layoff could have been better for Wilder.
Now, one thing I want to say really quick, and I don't know if this is what Paposa means, but I will say this, right? That sometimes we make moral victories when there's really no victory. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes fans, will give credit to somebody, maybe too much. Like in my opinion, I liked Arturo Gatti, but I thought, he got a little too much love. Like he got in the Hall of Fame based off of his heart and stuff like that. But when he stepped up, he wasn't an elite fighter, though. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he means if I don't want to put words in his mouth, but if he means it's being overstated, right? That he showed heart, throughout the fight. If he means that Fury's victory is more important and should be the main headline, not Wilder's heart, the moral victory, right? Then I would agree. I
understand that too. I
Yeah.
get
That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. And I'd like to talk more about what happened in the ring. Like, how did it happen? Rather than, oh, he showed heart. He got tired after 4 rounds and he kept trying to throw punches. Well, yeah, you should, because this was your back against the wall. You had no option but to keep fighting through it. And yes, you get huge respect for that. You're a former champion. You got a lot of pride, a huge ego. Your ego is absolutely massive.
Yeah, he got a massive ego, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was shocked. I was like, man, I thought Fury. I was shocked Fury got dropped twice in the 4th round. I'm like, damn, like what in the hell? And what the hell?
I thought
happened?
it was over.
I
thought
thought,
that was it.
yeah, because he barely got up. What happened was the referee told Wilder, he was counting. I think he got like the 5 or 6. And then he told Wilder, go back in the corner. Go back and watch that again. He said, go back in the corner. And then he picked up a count again. And that's where the referee was a long count. I'm like, he dudes go again.
Well, you know what it is Fury's listening to the count. Right. So he's not going to get up till you say 7 or 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty much what was happening. I think that's what happened there. But.
Yeah, but that was a good
Coach,
fight.
I don't want to play semantics, Coach, but were you really shocked or were you just surprised? I wasn't shocked. I seen him drop him before.
Talking about without surprise Fury got dropped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised. Yeah, I was like, dang, because I didn't think that, Fury figured him out. At the end of the day, Wilder wants to do what? Land that right hand.
Yeah.
I don't care what they showed on Instagram, going to the body, doing this. At the end of the day, it's about the right hand. So I said, okay, we know that Wilder's one-dimensional. Just take the right hand away. But I was shocked that he dropped him twice. I was like, I'm like, bro, the punch didn't look that hard to me at first. But when they showed
the second one to the back of the head is the one that probably messed him up the most. But he was lucky that the round was over. Yeah. He was so lucky that the round was over. That was the one where he was like, Jesus, like, where did that come from? But it's because it hit him in the back of the head.
If it was more time, I think he would have stopped Fury. But you're right. Wilder was doing a lot of hitting in the back of the head. He was, bro. He was. And Fury was leaning on him, a couple times with the headlock. The referee did a great job to me, in my opinion.
There was a lot of talk and speculation about the ref coming into the fight, and I talked about it. I know you guys probably talked about it on HCP, but I thought he did a fair job. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not it's not easy to deal with 2 big heavyweights who don't like each other. You know what I mean? And you got to try to find a referee that is as close to that stature as you possibly can. If you can find a referee that's 6'2", 6'3", that's strong enough to deal with it, then great. But good luck trying to find one, you know what I mean, at that level that has the experience. And I think he did pretty good. It was like he showed at times where he was aware. He actually warned Fury for headlocking in the fight. Yeah. So he was aware of it. He was like, okay. And more than likely in the locker room of Deontay Wilder, they probably told him, like, hey, he headlocked me a lot in the last 2 fights. Don't let him do it again. So you can tell that he was looking for it. But Fury's going to do what he does, man. I mean, unless you threaten to take a point away, he's going to do what he does on the inside. And he's just so tough to deal with. He's a problem. Mark my words. He's a problem for any heavyweight on the inside.
Both fighters was fighting each other dirty. And it's like I said, listen, make the referee do his job. I don't give a listen, bro. I'm trying to win this fight. Make him do his job. If he got to take a point or if he got to keep one, make him do his job. This is going to be an ugly fight, and it turned out exactly the way I thought it was going to be. Ugly, nasty. Nothing like a fight where 2 guys hate each other. Those are the best fights.
I will say though, it's just me. I was very disappointed that Wilder wouldn't even like just shake his hand. You know what I mean? I was.
The only thing I could say is maybe because it was so close to after the fight, and maybe the bad blood hadn't simmered over yet. But
he was concussed too. He was concussed. I think that the doctor was worried about him. Obviously, he was taken back straight away.
He went right to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it, and people were comparing it to AJ leaving the ring too for Usyk, but it's not quite the same. You know, Usyk outpointed AJ, but Wilder just came out of a war and was dropped several times and taken some hellacious shots. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm trying to put it into perspective because people were trying to say, you know, like, hey, Divine, you criticized AJ, but you're not going to criticize Wilder. Well, I'm not happy.
I don't know. AJ looked out of it, bro. Like at the end of that, like he was getting
but he was walking around. He was smiling. You know, he walked himself out of the ring.
Hang on, Divine Sense. Hang on, Divine Sense. Hang on.
AJ congratulated.
Exactly, Rafi. That's what I was just about to say.
He shook his hand.
Okay.
He patted him
I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm talking about speaking after the fight. That's what I'm talking about.
And then he went.
But that's irrelevant.
I agree with you.
I'm going to let Popo's go. I'll let you go. I was going to say this really quick. If what Fury said is true, that he went up to him and Wilder said, "Get out of here. I don't respect you." If that's true,
we saw that in the telecast. We saw.
Okay, there's audio of it. I don't know if there was or not.
No. We saw the hand gesture. No. He rejected it. Yeah. And do I blame him? Listen, man, it's emotions. It's emotions. Yeah. I'm not going to criticize a guy on the heat of the moment when he says, "Get the F out of here." I'm not going to criticize him in the heat of the moment. It's an emotional situation. Later on, he can reflect and he can make a decision on whether he wants to accept the olive branch.
I could accept that, yeah.
Yeah, but he won't because his ego's too big. He's got too massive an ego that's way too fragile. He'll never be able to accept that he lost and they got beat down twice, and because of that, he's not going to show Fury any respect because that ruins the whole demeanor and character that he's built up. That's why he couldn't do it.
Everybody on his team though has came out on Instagram and congratulated Fury for the victory. So is he really going to be
Monday
that
morning
guy?
Monday morning, he's going to tweet out congratulations to Tyson Fury.
I hope so. Hey, I got to get going.
All right, D, I'll see you.
Shout out to everybody. All right. Shout out to everybody. I'm out, guys.
You got yourself, D-Star.
Nice talking to you, D-Star.
I want, Habib. I want to ask you. I want to say this. This particular fight with Wilder and Fury, you said it was bad blood between the two, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, the bad blood was unwarranted.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
The bad blood was based on water bottles being spiked. He looked the exact same way he did in the second fight, groggy. I don't know, he looked the exact same way, groggy, legs weak. He didn't wear the costume this time. Referee. So I'm like the cheating gloves. Fury used the same gloves, right? So I think the bad blood was unwarranted based on, in my opinion, lies, because there was no facts that was brought forth to substantiate all of the reasons Wilder gave why he lost the second fight. And when we see the outcome of the third fight, I'm like, okay, you still look the same way. You still look groggy. Your legs look like they was not under you again. You was stumbling and fumbling, just like you was in the second fight. So that gets rid of.
Yeah, with the only exception of the fourth round. I'm gonna say the fight was almost identical, with the exception of maybe the fourth and I think the 10th.
Yeah, the fourth
and the first.
Because I gave Wilder the first 2 rounds. I think he did good the first 2 rounds, to be honest. Yeah.
I would give him the first round.
I gave him the first round.
Coach, I'll push back just a little bit. I get what you're saying. I don't want to say he looked exactly the same as the second fight. My personal opinion, he didn't look right from the first round in the second fight. From the first round, in my opinion. And I'm not buying into allegations like he was drugged. I'm just saying,
but after
something was wrong with him, something was going on. He wasn't mentally connected into the fight, he was done after the first round. In this fight, he just simply came out way too strong, jabbing, and forcing the jab in and trying to, he didn't throw the right hand, but he was just putting in so much energy in the first round. It literally just took 3 rounds off of the fight for him. Right there. Boom. First fight, 3 rounds gone.
After the second round, you could see him starting to get tired, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You saw that. He started to get fatigued. And I'm like, I think he gained a lot of weight. It was 238. Wilder powers his power comes from his speed. His power comes from speed. So when you put the extra muscle on, you know, it's screaming for oxygen. You know, you have those skinny legs. You have to fight to your strengths. I don't think that gaining the weight helped him in this fight.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but to Joe's point earlier, I know you came in a little bit later. He made a good point where it's if he goes in and fights at 215,
right,
he's going to get out muscled even more. I think the idea was, let me put on some muscle and I can do a little bit better in the clinch. But the problem is,
hang on, Divine Sense. But why? So why did?
Point.
Yeah, but I just want to ask you this, and you can answer it when you continue. Okay, so
you gotta let him finish what he said.
I know. Why didn't they focus on footwork instead of fighting in the clinch? Why didn't they focus on escaping the clinch?
But you cut him off.
I was just about to get to that. So I'm saying if he comes in at 215, 220, all right. I don't remember what he was the first fight. I think it was even less than that.
212.
But the problem is at 212, right? So the problem is in the first fight, Wilder boxed. You know, he didn't come forward and press the fight and force the clinch as much and try to work on the inside. So 212 he was able to do better. That's why he knocked him down in the 12th round.
Yeah.
Right? So if he does that again, we already know, and he knows that Fury's going to press me. He gets me in the clinch. So to your point, yes, the problem is not the weight. The problem is yes, footwork and sliding out from the clinch and never throwing uppercuts. Fury created space at times where Wilder could have snuck in some uppercuts, and he didn't do any of that. No inside work. That is.
When have you ever seen Wilder work on the inside and throw uppercuts? When?
Never. That's not what he does. All of his knockouts always come from, you know, he understands the distance and the space. If someone is standing right in front of him, he throws the 1-2 right down the pipe. His strengths. He doesn't know how to fight on the back foot. So we know that he doesn't have an inside boxing fight game, which is crazy because a lot of American fighters, you learn that in America, inside fighting. He doesn't have that.
But he started late. And he
Right.
started late.
My whole thing. Go ahead, Divine. Finish real quick.
Sorry. Let me just finish. So he started late, and because he started his professional career knocking dudes out early, he got comfortable with that. He never had to get into a fight like he's had to now face with Fury, where he had to now develop this skill at 35, 36 years old, where previously he just knocking dudes out. I mean, he meets Ortiz. They have a little bit of it inside, but even Ortiz likes to create space to get that left hand in there, right? It's the first time where a guy's really mugging him on the inside. And it's too late.
Let me just jump in. My whole thing was this before the fight. Whether you're 212 or you're 250, if you're Deontay Wilder, you're never going to win that battle on the inside with this guy who's 280. So my whole thing was, can you avoid the clinch the whole fight? No, but you should have tried to avoid the clinch as much as possible. So as soon as this guy's grabbing you, you got to push him off with your left hand, give him a bump, push him off, take that half step back and slide over to your right. Let him fall forward. Don't carry his weight. If you notice,
that was the game plan, though, B. Surely that was the game.
I agree, and I thought like when he said after the weigh-in, I'm gonna lie down on my back, just like I pushed that 330 up. I'm gonna push that 270 up. I was like, nah. That's when I knew
that would never happen because it comes from the feet. The power comes from the feet. It's
100%. It comes 100%. But if you notice when Usyk fought Joshua, when Joshua tried to come forward and grab him and stuff, what did Usyk do? He pushed him off and he kept stepping around him. You got to step around him.
Exactly that. He almost moved in a square. And it's so difficult to fight that.
Slip out and find the angle.
Angle and space.
Yes, but exactly. I want to talk about the weight though, because I've been waiting for a while. You see, with the weight, the theory is, the philosophy is, yeah, but you increase the weight and you take the speed off. Deontay Wilder requires the speed, but what I think they did was they said, okay, you're not going to be the conventional Deontay Wilder. We're going to turn you a little bit more into a George Foreman for this one. Okay, so your punches are going to be slower. There's going to be less velocity, but there will still be heavy shots. So we're going to move you away from the conventional Deontay and turn you a little bit more into a George Foreman. And I can see the logic. You have a low punch.
So not a sniper, but a shotgun.
Exactly, not a sniper, but a shotgun. You're gonna be a little bit slower, but you have a low output anyway. So the punches that you throw, if you select them correctly, you're gonna be a George Foreman.
Yeah, but the coach's point.
Okay, but here's the okay. Go ahead.
The coach's point: speed is power. So if you can't take a guy who's a fast twitch, explosive guy and try to turn him into a clubber.
Well,
Foreman was a clubber.
That's what they tried to do anyway. That's what they tried to do.
Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, because I'm hearing everybody talking. All these things you're saying that he's supposed to be doing, all that stuff would work if he had the fundamentals and if he actually practiced that for years and years and years. You can't learn that stuff in a few months. Yeah. And now the whole George Foreman comparison, he can't be George Foreman. George Foreman was taught by the best. He knew how to cut off the ring. George Foreman had great footwork. Wilder does not have a great base. He does not have great footwork. Everything that you're talking about comes from fundamentals, which he does not have.
Can I just jump in here? Can I just jump in? Hang on.
Real quick, 2 seconds. You're 100% correct, Troy. But he had a better chance of winning, at least trying to do those things instead of doing what he did, in my opinion.
Right. So there we go. That's why I'm not on this thing of like giving him bare credit for his heart when you've had 18 months to prepare. You knew what was going to happen. And yet we now know you didn't do anything to prepare for this start. You did nothing to prepare for it. We didn't see you circling away. We didn't see you creating a square angle to get away from the forward pressure. We didn't see any check hooks to pivot away from.
You're asking him to be a boxer. That's what boxers do. He's not a boxer.
But Troy, he's got to try. He's got to try to be a boxer, Troy. You got to at least try to be a boxer, Troy, because you ain't gonna outfight this guy on the inside.
He's not a good boxer.
And they could. We don't know. They could have worked on different stuff. I mean, they could have tried it, but practicing it and implementing it in a fight is two different things. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
We saw the game plan. We saw the game plan went out of the window after the first round.
Yeah, but the game plan was just stab him to the belly with a jab and then throw essentially the 1-2 to the body as well. That was literally it.
But Fury was on the back foot in the first round.
Other than that, what else was the strategy? What was the strategy for staying away from the forward pressure?
I knew he wasn't going to be able to do what he did in the first round the whole fight. I just knew he wasn't going to.
We knew that. Yeah.
Because I knew Fury was going to. I knew Fury was going to adapt to it. Fury's not just going to let you keep doing the same thing to him.
And plus, Deontay Wilder couldn't keep up that output anyway. He's a low output guy.
But also,
he says he only needs to be perfect for 2 seconds.
Did you guys notice that in the second round, Fury was timing when Wilder would lunge in because he's so uncoordinated. He was lunging in with the jab, and Fury was just standing up tall and essentially just giving him a check left hook. Was just clipping him on the side of the ear every time he lunged in, and that's what deterred him from lunging in with the jab to the body.
Yeah,
that's what started it.
Yeah, Wilder doesn't have footwork, and the thing is my thing was this, and I broke this down myself. I looked at his strengths and his weaknesses. He's not a footwork guy. If you look at all of his knockouts, 99% of his knockouts came from when the guy was standing directly in front of him, and if he sat there like for maybe 2 or 3 seconds too long, pap, the 1-2 down the pipe. It's damn near always like that. Ortiz, both fights. Arthur Spilker. He baited Arthur Spilker. He backed up on the rope. Arthur Spilker ran in there. He caught him with the right hand, moved out the way. And the thing is I'm finna go because I got to go to the gym myself to train some guys. The weight thing. You bitching 350 pounds. Whoever, and I know Joe. Well, I don't know Joey Scott, but they reached out to me. This is Deontay Wilder strength and conditioning coach. They reached out to me about taking down the video. That's how these guys watch my videos every day. And I say, dude, I ain't taking down nothing. I said what I said. I meant it. And it is what it is.
Coach, they've done that before to other people too. So just
right. You know, and I'm
what's
in,
the video? What's the video they want you to take down? I'm sorry.
When I said that when Deontay Wilder was bench pressing 315 pounds, and his form was off, they wasn't spotting him correctly. I said this dude could have hurt his back. And
he could have tore a pectoral muscle too, coach.
Yeah, he could have. And I'm like, dude, you guys are standing next. You're getting ready for a heavyweight fight. He has no business lifting that. So he reached out to me. You know, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what we said. It was between me and him, but he reached out to me. He clarified it. And I have these guys. I have his phone number. They have my phone number. Like they called me. Like I'm not making this up. And Malik Scott was standing right next to him.
Because you know how to work out, coach. You're in great shape, man. They respect that, but they respect that from you.
But I told him, I say, dude. So he said, I'm bitching 350 pounds. That's different. That's dead weight sitting on a bar. That's not the same as a man 200 and something pounds shifting weight, moving weight. You know, that's totally different. Bench pressing. Yeah, if you're trying to, you know, do like a competition for powerlifting and stuff, yeah, that's cool. But for a fight, that's not going to help you. You need to be doing squats, leg lunges, dump walks, deadlifts. This is what you need to be doing, building your base.
Yeah,
farmer walks. Is top heavy.
Farmer walks. They could have even just got him on the hex bar and just got him carrying heavy loads backward and forward, and then working some upper body work from that. But they did. That's why I'm mad, because everyone's like, oh, he showed so much heart, but look at the deficiencies he showed in the fight, and he's had all this time to correct them. He sold everybody in his little cult that, oh yeah, I'm coming for blood and I'm so improved. Look at all these Instagram videos I'm doing. But actually, you showed no improvement whatsoever. Nothing at all. You knew what was coming and you didn't improve.
Wilder would have been better off lifting up sandbags, carrying sandbags.
Listen, panel. I'm telling you guys, I told Joey Scott this. I said, dude, he's gonna have to build his legs up. Period. He's already strong up top. You don't need to do any of that. His speed comes from his, you know, who am I? I'm nobody, right? But I'm saying, dude, it's one thing I do know. You have to build those legs up.
I agree with you, coach.
Dude,
I don't think you're wrong, coach. I don't think you're wrong at all.
Everybody's saying the same thing.
100%.
Like, dude, build his legs up. Because once Fury starts leaning on him, this is why he's stumbling and fumbling. He has his extra weight. Then you got a 6'9", 277-pound man leaning on you. What the hell you think is going to happen? It's not rocket science.
I came on here saying I don't understand how they were building up his chest and not his legs. Am I right, B?
You did say it, yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I'm. This is actually kind of interesting because this is what I do for a living, man. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I don't know if they're so sure that they're going to get Fury out early that they abandon the leg work. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, like, I get it before it worked. So you have this thing, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's worked for me. But you're not fighting those guys anymore. You're fighting the biggest man in the heavyweight division who's going to be all over you. Yeah. Like, and the thing is that, you know, and it hurts me to say this because I'm a Wilder fan, but you had time. Yeah. You had time to go into the gym and work those legs, and you could have if you're going to put 20 pounds of muscle on, it should have been in your legs.
But I'm going to also
completely agree.
I'm going to also say this. You know, Malik Scott and the team could say whatever they want, but Wilder, admittedly, Malik Scott said this, is a stubborn guy. So there's only going to be so much you're going to tell him, and at some points they may have said certain things to him, and he's like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And I could see, and this is just my opinion. I don't know, but I could see. At certain points in that camp, they may have asked him to do certain things, and maybe he said, "Nah, I'm not feeling that." Maybe they didn't do it.
But and that's why he won't succeed. Because you know what? I would love to get him to come to Baltimore, man, and meet a trainer by the name of Marvin McDowell. He runs, Umar Boxing Gym in Baltimore. I call it the House of Champions, right? Yeah. Franchon Cruz, that's her original coach. Tank been through there. I've seen been through there. A lot of great fighters have come through there that's come out of Baltimore. So it's not like he don't know what he has a cat in the gym today that's 6'9". He had one in there that was 6'6", right? and Franchon used to spar with the 6'6" cat, so he knows what to do with these tall fighters and all that. He would love to get Wilder, but if you're stubborn and you only listen to yourself, you could only go so far.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. It doesn't matter. We can spit all the game plans we want. Like Coach was saying, you can say whatever you want to say to me. I'm not changing my mind. Same thing with him. He ain't changing his mind. So how you gonna do anything with that?
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes because we've been on for almost three and a half hours.
Yeah.
So let me just say one thing. Before we go, we'll go around the panel. Can Wilder come back from this loss, or do you think he may never be the same after this loss? We'll start with you, Divine.
The problem there is this.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think the Fury saga's done. It is what it is. It's going to take some time to soak into his wounds, and hopefully they visit the tape. Maybe this is what it really takes. I thought that after the second fight, that would be enough for him to make the final adjustments that were necessary. But maybe it took a few times. Maybe it's going to take him a couple of times to take a loss like this. And I think he'll be back, man. And I think he still is marketable. I believe that you can put a name with him and still sell a fight, because at the end of the day, hate him or love him, he has that eraser that Teddy Atlas likes to say. And that's one thing that we can never take from him. I think there needs to be an evaluation of not just the things he needs to work on in the boxing ring and doing his work, but perhaps with the closest people to him. And I'm not saying they're bad people, but really dig deep within yourself and be like, okay, what's the plan here? What's the objective? If the objective is try to win another belt and go out as a champion and retire as a champion, how are we going to get there? Let's take some serious look at tape, and let's take this seriously. No more ego, no more pride, and do it. And I think that he has the athletic ability, the God-gifted athletic ability that a lot of fighters don't have, that probably wish they did have. And he has it. And he can make something great, still at his age, I believe. He hasn't taken a lot of damage over the course of his career. I think he's got some tread left on the tires. And I think he can still pull it out. So I can see him back, and maybe we'll see him against Andy Ruiz, or maybe we'll get a Dillian White. I don't know. But I think we'll get him. I think we'll see him again.
Okay. Go ahead, Coach, because I know you got a break.
He'll come back. Listen, what's in the heavyweight division? It's nothing but a handful of great fighters. Anyways, you know what I mean? You can name top 5, and everybody else is everybody else. So yeah, he definitely can come back. You know what I mean? I'm not the one to write any fighter off, whether it's Joshua. It doesn't, Usyk, Fury, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He can come back. He's 36 years old. Is he past his prime? I don't know. Maybe these 3 fights with Fury, maybe it just took a lot out of him. We don't know yet. We won't know. We won't know till they get in the ring. If he gets in the ring in the next fight and he doesn't look well, you can say, you know what, man, it's over. He made plenty of money now. He made plenty of money, so he's good. But I don't know, man. I think he can. I'm not going to count him out. I'm not going to, I'm not going to let, my personal whatever. I'm going to give him the benefit of that. I think he can come back. I really think he can. Now, will he win the titles again? I don't know, but I think he can come back. And that's just my opinion on it. Who he fights, that's another thing. But salute to everybody, man. It's on Coach Malachi Williams. I will be going live, guys, at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time to break this down and try to address some of the just some of the things that some of people are saying, and some of the alphabet boys, they are giving what Fury his props right now. Shocked the hell out of me. Some of them they are. So salute to everybody, man. Much love to everybody in the chat, man. Hey, Joe, thank you so much for having me, man. Salute to everybody on the panel, my brother.
Have a good day, man.
All right, brother.
Catch up with you soon, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so first and foremost, we're talking about 2 guys who had been out of the ring for 20 months, I believe. So we're not talking about guys who are particularly sharpened and polished. So they've been out of the ring for 20 months. It was a slobber knocker. It was a classic slobber knocker. Rather than a classic fight. It was a classic slobber knocker. That's what I'm saying. Out of the ring 20 months, you're not at your sharpest. Okay. Wilder showed a lot of heart. Which I expected. I expected him to go out on his shield. After the 6th round, I didn't see much of a chance for him after the 6th round, as it turned out. But anyway, the longer the fight went, the more it would favor Fury. That was my position. Wilder showed a lot of heart, grit, and determination. But to be honest with you, he didn't have anything else. But he certainly didn't have the boxing skills. Boxing skills too rudimentary. Not a boxer. Good fighter, not a boxer. Now, going forward, I can see Wilder coming back and fighting some lower ranked guys. But the question is, do the general public have a desire to see Wilder against a lower ranked guys? I really don't know. That was his fare before he got in the ring with Fury, lower ranked guys. Are the public going to accept that? Maybe the first time, just to see him come back, what he looks like. But I don't think he can have another career fighting lower ranked guys. And at 36, I don't think he has the desire. In the interview he did with the Last Stand podcast, Brian Custer, he said he only saw himself with a couple more fights. I really don't see the point in him coming back fighting meaningless fights. There's really no point. The only interesting fights now are with the top guys, the top 5 guys. Dillian White, Alexander Usyk, and Anthony Joshua. Those are the only fights. Is he going to take those fights? In my honest opinion, no. He's made a good money now, 60 million, maybe 70 million with the 3 in the trilogy. He's made good money now. It's generational wealth. He can retire. I can't see him coming back, getting motivated to come back for meaningless fights. And I don't think he wants a 3rd loss in a row if he fights a top guy. So my honest opinion is he stays out for at least a year. He might get itchy again and come back, but I see him out for at least a year. Maybe he comes back and has one fight and he moves off into the sunset, rides off into the sunset. So imminently, what I'm saying is that Deontay Wilder, more than likely, I think he bows out. He bows out. He's not going to announce it now. Maybe in 18 months, he'll announce it then. But I think ultimately he has one more fight max, and then he bows out. Two more fights max, if that. Thanks for having me, Beeb, Divineness, Troy, Papoose. Good talking to all of y'all. It's the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And yeah, thank you and good evening.
Troy, go ahead.
Okay, he could come back. He has to fire everybody in his camp and keep his friend on, his trainer, as like a Drew Bundini Brown type of guy, not his trainer. He can't be his trainer. He has to get a guy that's experienced and firm and just a real boxing head. Not to say he's not a boxing head, but he doesn't have the experience to teach him what he needs to know. Because what is he, 36, 37? So give him 3-4 more years in this business, right? So if he really wants to come back, he has to look himself in the mirror and say, I have to make this change, which is firing every friggin' body in his camp. Because none of them know anything about boxing. None of them. With the exception of the guy who trains him, right? Then you go out and get a real strong trainer like Marvin McDowell, who I mentioned, and you stay on that program. You lock yourself away for about 9 months. I would say 9-10 months, and you work in silence. There's no media. There's no fanfare. There's no family. You go straight Marvin Hagler, and you just train for life and death. Basically, he has to recreate himself. That's it. I mean, there's nothing more that he could do at this stage in life. But personally, I'm going to say it that I don't think he's coming back. And if Fury does fight again, I believe he's going to lose the next fight. Something I saw. I believe he loses the next fight. That would be the Dillian White.
Okay. Papoose, what are your thoughts on Wilder? What's going to happen next for him? Can he succeed moving forward?
Okay, so he can definitely come back. I mean, PBC will want him to come back without a question, shadow of a doubt. They'll line up a fight with either Adam Kaunaki, who's coming off a loss, or they'll do the Ruiz fight coming off a win, and then try and manufacture something there where they can do, you know, a decent pay-per-view, because they're obviously the PPC are going to do a pay-per-view, and try and make some more money out of Deontay Wilder, which was always the object. That was always the game, to get Wilder into a position where he was a lucrative pay-per-view fighter, making them as a promotional outfit some money. So he can definitely come back, but does he want to is the question. Does he want to come back? Now, if his hand is injured again, which is what they're saying, that like he might have like broken knuckle or some shit like that. If he's got more injuries, in addition, he can't accept what just happened to him. Plus the beating that he took, having long-standing damage, or not just on his psyche and on his ego, but on his physical well-being, he might not want to go through all of that again. Because I definitely feel as though he knows now that he's far more vulnerable than he ever was before. But it's whether or not he can accept that. If he can accept that and try and want to improve, like everybody else has said, then he can come back and be successful. But I don't know if he'll have the desire, because I don't think he'll ever be able to look himself in the mirror and go, yeah, I just got beat up and I can accept it, and now I need to get better. Because he had that chance before and he didn't do it. Instead, he embraced all the bullshit. He embraced Malik Scott which allowed him to feed into his own hubris, and he didn't improve over the last 20 months or whatever it was. So, yes, he can come back, but what is the long-standing damage to him physically, emotionally, and mentally, which may stop him from coming back? And if he does come back, he could definitely beat Adam Kaunaki. Whether he can beat Andy Ruiz is a different matter. He might lose to Andy Ruiz.
Quick prediction. Usyk Joshua 2, who wins?
This is the reason why I came on, actually, because I think you are not giving Usyk enough credit for how difficult he is to fight for a bigger heavyweight.
I ate my words. I gave him full credit. I thought AJ was going to knock him out. I ate my words.
Usyk is very, very difficult. For any of these bigger heavyweights, he's going to be very, very difficult to fight, because his foot speed and his footwork is so clever and so fast. Plus his engine has got so many gears. When bigger heavyweights, including Fury, start slowing down in the 8th or 9th round, Usyk's getting quicker. He's able to go to another level. Plus his lead hand game. So what he does with his right hand, his lead hand game just essentially creates so many puzzles to fix, because he's constantly making you think he's going to jab, making you think he's going to throw a lead hook. Then he's throwing the left hand down the pipe. Like, he's a very, very difficult fighter to try and get past, much less when you're a lot slower than him and you don't have the gas tank that he has. So I think Joshua can win, but he's going to have to box for a part of the fight so that he can conserve his energy. Because he got outboxed, but he wasn't thoroughly embarrassed. I don't think enough people are giving Joshua the credit for staying in there and not getting absolutely shellacked.
How many rounds did you give Joshua in that fight?
I gave him 4 rounds. And there were some swing rounds in there, though. There were some swing rounds where I thought they were going to go to Joshua, and they didn't in the end. Like, they ended up giving them to Usyk. But
I only gave him 3 rounds, but
yeah, I gave him 4. I thought there were some rounds in there where Usyk won them by 2 or 3 punches. He didn't win them by huge output, because Joshua was good enough to stay in there and try and figure out the lead hand game. But it was very, very tough, mentally fatiguing, and obviously physically fatiguing as well. Joshua can win. He's got a box for a part of the fight, and then at one stage he's going to have to just go all out and just try and walk through what Usyk has. And it might not work, but there is going to come a point, probably in the 5th or 6th round, when he's just going to have to go on seek and destroy. That doesn't guarantee the win. It doesn't. If anything, it can guarantee you get knocked out quicker.
Okay.
You might not even finish the fight. You might get knocked out.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna pick Joshua to win the rematch, because he is the opposite of Wilder. He will always try and improve. He's willing to look himself in the mirror and go, right, what did I do wrong? What can I fix? And that's the difference.
That's okay. All right, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for everyone in the chat, and we will see you later tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time, on the Ringside Reporter podcast with myself and Eric Lauder. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.